Hey everyone, welcome to Firescale Audiobooks. If you enjoy the audiobooks, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to support us further, consider becoming a Patreon member. As a member, you'll gain the ability to request the next part of a novel audiobook I've uploaded, depending on your Patreon tier.
Fang Heng did not feel the slightest bit of psychological burden when it came to snatching items from Prisoner Snake and his gang. In fact, when the prison was attacked by Prisoner Snake and his gang, Fang Heng had also thought of getting rid of them once and for all. However, he was still not strong enough at that time. Prisoner Snake and his gang were all players with combat-type talent abilities. If he forced them into a corner and if they might retaliate by fighting with their lives on the line, he may end up losing a mercenary. By that time, Fang Heng would have to pay a large sum of the deposit and his heart would ache for a long time. Now, the situation was completely different. After the trip to Hope Town, his zombie clones had been super enhanced. He had slept for the whole morning, so he didn't feel sleepy at all. He had decided. Tonight, he would rob that mine. Fang Heng made up his mind and raised his head. You're right. We need to make preparations early. Tonight, I'm going to look for them and completely solve this problem. What? Big brother, what did you say? Liao Bufan was stunned. He blinked his eyes and looked baffled. He thought to himself, what did I say? What did I say? I just told you to prepare for defense. Are you going to look for them to fight? Fang Heng. You want to fight tonight? Calm down, let's. Fang Heng looked like he had everything under control. Don't worry, I have a plan. Liao Bufan shut up. The words, I have a plan, left a deep impression in Liao Bufan's mind. He remembered that Fang Heng had said the same thing last time. At first, he didn't believe it either. Later on, Fang Heng took out a focused flamethrower and taught the spider zombie in the underground passage a lesson. I'll keep watch tonight. You should go rest. It's been hard on you lately. All right, I'll sleep first, call me if you need anything. Liao Bufan soon figured it out. Why do I have to worry so much? Whatever Big Brother says, he'll do. He'll hit whoever he wants. He didn't care. He just needed to cling to his legs. When Liao Bufan went offline, Fang Heng walked out of building number 3. He controlled the vine zombies on the military truck to go back and forth a few times and moved all the corpse vines into the new super-large shelter in the basement. After thinking for a while, Fang Heng personally made a "Do Not Enter" wooden sign and stuck it at the entrance of the shelter in the basement. If anyone dared to break in, he would be considered unlucky. After doing all this, Fang Heng gave the 8 vine zombies the order to go to the abandoned iron mine area. He returned to the newly cleaned private lounge on the first floor. Fang Heng lit a bonfire. He set up a barbecue grill. He fiddled with the skewers on the grill while thinking. After leveling up, the vine zombies had an 80 to 20 chance of winning against a tier 1 mutated zombie one-on-one. So, what was the actual combat effect of using them to deal with players? At this stage of the game, very few players had reached level 5. At most, they could only fight against ordinary zombies. The vine zombie should be able to crush them, right? After all, his vine zombie clones had a total of 1000 HP, which was at least 6 or 7 times the HP of an ordinary player. They also had 30% physical damage reduction and 80% HP instant recovery skills. Right, they could also use vine entanglement skills in close combat. If he were to face such a large group of vine zombies. Just thinking about it would be terrifying. Fang Heng unconsciously rubbed his hands together. He couldn't wait any longer. It was a good idea to use the people from the Dawn Gaming Guild, Prisoner Snake and gang, as the vine zombies damage testing machine. I can also get an iron mine. Fang Heng was in a good mood. He opened the game log and checked the situation of the vine zombies. At first, the Dawn Gaming Guild didn't believe what Prisoner Snake said. A certain player had conquered the entire prison and completed the construction of a large-scale shelter by himself within a few days of the game opening. Was that possible? This must be a joke. This wasn't the end. That player had even recruited several high-level NPCs and owned guns. Even if he was lying, he had to be more sincere. But the truth was beyond the gaming company's expectations. Prisoner Snake wasn't lying. After several rounds of confirmation, the guild immediately made a decision. They immediately gathered the players and prepared to move into District 8. Their goal was to occupy the prison, and then with the prison as the center, they would develop rapidly in the game. But soon, things changed again. In the forest near the prison, they actually found an abandoned iron mine cave. This time, District 8 of the zombie apocalypse instantly became the top priority out of the Dawn Guild's important projects. There was an iron mine with rich resources, as well as a powerful shelter. What kind of fantasy was this? After some discussion, the higher-ups of the Dawn Guild unanimously agreed to invest the largest amount of resources in District 8. A total of 200 King of Gods points. This year, almost all of the guild's budget was invested in District 8. At night, in a temporary hut built inside the abandoned mine, Prisoner Snake and a few other players were sitting in front of the bonfire. In his hand was an iron knife that had just come out of the furnace not long ago. Looking at the human face that shone from the blade, Prisoner Snake's face revealed a hint of ferocity. As the advanced players in the Dawn Guild had long surpassed level 5, they were unable to enter the game. Therefore, after careful consideration, Prisoner Snake was assigned as the team leader in the game. Prisoner Snake knew that the people living in the prison had guns in their hands. If they fought head-on, the casualties would be too great. Thus, this time, he was prepared to develop honestly. For the sake of revenge, Prisoner Snake worked hard with all his might. These few days, he spent a lot of effort to construct the abandoned mine. Modules, furnaces, shovels. The 200 King of Gods points that he had obtained from the Gaming Union were all invested in the construction of the abandoned mine. Fortunately, it was all worth it. The newly forged iron knife in his hands was the best proof. The iron mine had officially started operating. In another 2 or 3 days, all members of his party would be equipped with iron knives, and the explosives provided by the guild would also be delivered. At that time, his combat power would greatly increase. He could go and fight those people in the prison with all his might. Bear with it for a little longer. Let them have a few more days of fun. The day of revenge would soon come. He would redeem himself and take over the prison. He would be able to stand firmly in the game. He would be able to rise to the top. Just as Prisoner Snake was thinking excitedly, 2 new players rushed over from the temporary residence. Brother Snake. It's bad. We've encountered a zombie attack. Trash. We can't even deal with a few zombies. Prisoner Snake cursed. He didn't care too much about it. The mine had always been unsafe. There were often wandering zombies coming to harass them from the outside. Especially at night. Sometimes, there would even be a few waves of zombies. Let's go and take a look. Prisoner Snake pulled out the iron knife in his hand and brought more than 10 players back to the entrance of the cave to support them. He hurried to the entrance of the cave and saw a few players retreating. These people were only using bows and arrows to attack the zombies from afar. They were retreating and shooting at the same time. There were only 8 zombies. Why were they so weak? Prisoner Snake frowned. The strength of the new members of the Union was getting worse and worse. F***CK. Just these few zombies, how can you all be so afraid? Prisoner Snake sneered and strode forward, heading straight for the nearest zombie that was swaying. It was a good time to try the newly obtained iron knife. Holding the iron knife in his hand, Prisoner Snake strode forward and charged at the swaying zombie in front of him. Brother Snake. Don't go over there. Be careful. Seeing Prisoner Snake's actions, the players who had retreated with their wooden bows shouted one after another. Prisoner Snake turned a deaf ear to them. He was very confident and raised his iron knife to slash at the zombie's neck. He thought that this slash was perfect. He had grasped the angle and strength perfectly. This slash had a chance to chop off the zombie's head. Crack! The confident Prisoner Snake's expression changed. The large knife was actually stuck on the neck of the zombie. Prisoner Snake was stunned. The knife couldn't chop it off. Was the iron knife a low-quality product? Chi! Chi chi! In the next moment, several vines shot out from the wound on the neck of the zombie that had been cut open by the iron knife. The vines quickly spread along the iron knife and grabbed at Prisoner Snake's hand. F***CK. What the hell is this? Prisoner Snake was so scared that he immediately let go of the handle of the iron knife and quickly stepped back. It was better to stay as far away from the strange zombie as possible. Brother Snake, that's a mutated zombie. The two brothers just died in its hands. Don't get close to it for close combat, use long-range attacks. Stay far away. Don't let them get close. The new players started to explain to the new reinforcements. Damn it. Why didn't you say so earlier? Prisoner Snake gritted his teeth and retreated into the crowd. He had never seen this type of mutated zombie that could actually grow vines from its body. He almost fell for it. Since he couldn't fight at close range, he would use a long-range bow and arrow to kill it. Prisoner Snake also took out a wooden longbow from his backpack. As he retreated, he aimed at the mutated zombie and shot. As a long-range weapon in the early stages of the game, the wooden bow was quite troublesome to use. It required constant reloading and aiming. In addition, the wooden bow's accuracy wasn't good. At least 2 or 3 out of 10 arrows missed. Prisoner Snake led the others to shoot while retreating. Soon, he realized that something was wrong. Why? Why were these zombies so fleshy? More than 10 players were shooting with their arrows at the 8 zombies for more than 10 minutes. Almost every mutated zombie had 20 or 30 arrows inserted into their bodies. However, they were still alive and kicking. There was no injury on their bodies. They were still staggering forward as before. It was as if these arrows couldn't harm them at all. Damn it. Where did these mutated zombies come from? Cold sweat broke out on Prisoner Snake's head. What was going on? It had only been a few days since the server opened. Why did so many high-level mutated zombies appear? And so many of them at once? This didn't fit the game setting at all. What made Prisoner Snake feel the most despair was there weren't many wooden arrows left in their hands. They couldn't hold on any longer. The long-range wooden arrows posed too little of a threat to these zombies. After careful observation, Prisoner Snake made a frightening discovery. These zombies' damaged skin seemed to be covered with a layer of solid armor made of tree branches and vines. Arrows couldn't penetrate this layer of armor at all. How come these zombies are so hard? God. I don't have any more bows and arrows. Someone give me some quickly. Brother Snake. We can't retreat anymore. We're going to be forced into a dead end. Prisoner Snake felt a chill run down his spine. If this continued, forget about going to the prison for revenge in a few days, his life would probably end here. Prisoner Snake raised the iron knife in his hand. Brothers. Let's go. Let's break out of here together. Inside the prison. It's so delicious. After upgrading to level 2 cooking, the taste of the food has indeed improved. Fang Heng took a bite of the big skewer that he had just finished roasting, feeling satisfied. He opened the game log. Rows of messages refreshed. Hint, your zombie clone has been hit by a long-range arrow. Your zombie clone has received damage +5. Hint, your zombie clone has been hit by a long-range arrow. Your zombie clone has received damage +9. Hint, your zombie clone has been hit by a long-range arrow. Your zombie clone has received damage +6. Your skill strength in the body experience point +1. Hint, your zombie clone has been hit by a long-range arrow. Your zombie clone has received damage +5. Hint, your zombie clone has received an automatic HP recovery +12 per second. Hint, your zombie clone has been hit by a long-range arrow. Your zombie clone has received damage +7. Your skill basic physique training experience points +1. Hint, your zombie clone has been hit by a long-range arrow. Are Prisoner Snake and his gang capable or not? Most of them haven't learned the bow and arrow skill yet. This kind of damage isn't enough. Fang Heng was a little distressed. If this carries on, the effect of the strength test will not be achieved at all. As expected, within a few minutes, a new message appeared in the game log. Hint, your zombie clone has caused damage to a certain player. Your skill basic strength training experience point +1. Hint, your zombie clone has received an automatic HP recovery +12 per second. Hint, your zombie clone has caused damage to a certain player. Your skill basic strength training experience points +1. Hint, your zombie clone has received a close combat attack. Hint, your zombie clone has attempted to dodge an attack, but failed. Received damage plus 19. Your skill basic agility training experience plus 1. Hint, your zombie clone has caused damage to a certain player. Your skill basic strength training experience point plus 1. Hint, your zombie clone has received an automatic HP recovery plus 12 per second. Hint, your zombie clone has caused damage to a certain player. Your skill basic strength training experience point plus 1. Hint, your zombie clone has released a skill vine entanglement on a player. The skill has been judged and successfully released. Hint, your zombie clone has inflicted 20 damage to the player through the skill and has recovered 20 HP. Hint, your zombie clone has inflicted 20 damage to the player through the skill and has recovered 20 HP. Hint, your zombie clone has killed a certain player. Fang Heng shook his head silently. Ugh, this won't do. These people can't hold on any longer. After a while, the notifications that appeared in the log gradually decreased. Hint, your zombie clone has occupied the mine. Eh? Did they escape? Fang Heng frowned. This was meaningless. After all, they were a big guild. Where had their ruthlessness gone to? Although there was a risk of infection if they escaped at night, they would definitely be wiped out if they stayed in the mine. Fang Heng was a little disappointed. He still wanted to solve this problem tonight. He flipped through the records again and counted the casualties. There were no casualties on his side in this battle. They killed 7 enemies and seriously injured 4 enemies. Fang Heng lowered his head and thought. If Prisoner Snake and his gang kept running away and fighting in guerrilla warfare, it wouldn't be easy. After all, the speed of the vine zombies was too slow. This was very annoying. Got it. Demolish their houses. As long as they demolished all the shelters and residences of the Dawn Gaming Guild, these people would die under the negative effects of the dark fear at night. Thinking of this, Fang Heng directly gave the zombie clones the order to demolish their houses. First, demolish the temporary residence that the Dawn Gaming Guild had built in the mine. After the zombies who had committed suicide during the day were resurrected tomorrow, they would go and demolish their entire residence. After losing their residences in the zombie apocalypse world, this group of people would definitely not be able to survive. Hint, during the period when you are offline, your zombies have dismantled the temporary shelter. You have obtained firewood *6782, nails *45, rags *23, scrap metal *56, scrap plastic *7, clay *21. Through dismantling, you have obtained skill strength in the body experience points 3253, obtained skill basic physique training experience points 28192. Hint, your skill strength in the body has been upgraded to level 3. Hint, your skill basic physique training has been upgraded to level 10, it has reached the current upper limit. Hint, your zombie clones have obtained iron ore *122, stone pickaxe *5, iron pickaxe *1, module *5. Hint, your zombie clones have discovered the furnace *5. In just one night, the temporary residence that the Dawn Guild spent 2 days building was completely demolished by Fang Heng. Fang Heng let the zombie clones guard the iron mine first, then began digging for iron ore. Meanwhile, he drove the truck alone to the Apocalypse merchant camp. Before leaving, Fang Heng specifically told Liao Bufan to pay attention to the defense and be careful of Prisoner Snake and his gang in case they attack the prison in desperation. Fang Heng. You're finally here. Let me introduce you to Mr. David from the Dark Knights. He's been waiting for you for a long time. David did not look strong. He wore a black hat and had 2 strands of black beard. Hello, Fang Heng. I've heard a lot of stories about you from Vettel. Let me introduce myself. I'm one of the contact persons of the Dark Knights, David. We've been looking for partners who share the same interests as us in this apocalypse. The purpose of our organization is to save this world that has been invaded by zombies. After a series of tests, I believe that your strength has far exceeded our expectations. On behalf of the Dark Knights, I would like to invite you to join us. Hint, do you accept David's invitation to join the Dark Knights? Of course. After going through so much, he finally joined the Dark Knights. Fang Heng chose to confirm. Hint, you have chosen to join the Dark Knights. Your honor level in the Dark Knights is level 1, private. Hint, delaying the completion of the mission. Hint, due to your outstanding completion of the mission search for the T-virus serum, you have obtained 1000 by 41.28 Dark Knights honor points. Hint, your Dark Knight's honor level has been upgraded to level 7, second lieutenant. That's great. With your participation, we will definitely find a way to solve the zombie virus and rebuild this world. David patted Fang Heng's shoulder enthusiastically. I heard that you have established your own shelter and have your own base. Yes, it's in the prison. Well, according to your Dark Knight's honor level, we can provide you 2 top soldiers from the Dark Knights for free to provide security and protection for your shelter. Of course, during this period, you must be responsible for providing the necessary survival materials for the soldiers. If they have an accident, you also need to pay an additional pension to the Dark Knights. Fang Heng, do you need the protection of the soldiers? 2 high-level elite soldiers for free. Was that even a question? Fang Heng immediately nodded. Of course. Okay, they will report to your shelter soon. Hint, you have obtained Dark Knight's elite soldier *2. They will arrive outside your shelter in 5 hours. Please be prepared to receive them. Click to see more details of the soldier's attributes. Fang Heng immediately opened the game log to see the details. Mercenary, elite soldiers of the Dark Knights. Level, 25. Strength, 12. Agility, 8. Physique, 12. Will, 7. Perception, 6. Intelligence, 6. Skills, Gun Mastery, Level 15, Close Combat, Level 15, Close Combat Weapon Mastery, Level 12, Investigation Techniques, Level 7, Piloting, Level 7, Heavy Combat, Level 5, Field Stealth Skills, Level 5, Team Tactical Cooperation, Level 7, Elite Soldier Special Training, Level 20, Learning Talent, Level 10. What a guy. The row of skills made Fang Heng feel a little dizzy. Level 15 Gun Mastery. Up to 12 Strength points. This meant that the Dark Knight's elite soldiers could easily control the sniper rifle. There was also the Learning Talent skill. With this skill, the NPC mercenaries could learn much faster. Their levels, attributes, and skills still had room for improvement. As expected of the top NPC mercenaries in the zombie apocalypse game, Fang Heng was secretly speechless. The strength of the Dark Knight's elite soldiers was much higher than he had expected. In comparison, the level 5 top mercenaries provided by the Apocalypse Merchant Camp were nothing. Fang Heng closed the game log and raised his head to ask. David, can I recruit more elite soldiers? Of course you can. Based on your current rank of honor, you can currently recruit up to 20 Dark Knight's elite soldiers to join your team. A single soldier can be bought off for 60,000 survival points. Expensive. The most expensive mercenary in Apocalypse Camp only cost 6,000 points, while the Dark Knight's elite mercenaries' cost increased by 10 times. Fang Heng shook his head in his heart. The gap in survival points was too big. At the moment, his survival points were insufficient. He still had a batch of zombies waiting for survival points to complete the enhancement. He did not have that much money to continue recruiting mercenaries. Vettel curled his lips and tried to assist him. Hey, buddy, Fang Heng is an old friend of mine. Make it easy for him. At most, I'll treat you to a drink tonight. This is already the lowest price. It's very difficult for us to train an elite soldier, especially in this kind of environment. David paused and looked at Fang Heng. But considering that you have completed the mission perfectly this time, we can give you a batch of elite soldiers as a reward for free. The number is 15. Fang Heng's eyes lit up when he heard that. You mean for free? Yes, free. But you have to think carefully. After all, before I came here, I heard Vettel mention something. The talent skill you awakened in the apocalypse seems to have hit a bottleneck recently, and you want our help. As David spoke, he took out a rolled-up black scroll from his backpack and handed it to Fang Heng. The Dark Knights indeed have a high-level talent enhancement information. We originally planned to give it to you as a reward for the mission. This scroll is very precious. We spent a long time to get it. With your outstanding performance in this mission, it's understandable to give it to you as a reward. David looked at Fang Heng, waiting for him to make a choice. But I'm sorry, you can only choose one of the two rewards. Fang Heng opened his mouth. This choice was really a pain in the ass. Then Fang Heng, do you want to choose elite soldiers or the talent reward? Fang Heng asked, I want to know the level of the talent enhancement plan. It's S level. As far as I know, the level of the talent enhancement plan is the same as the level of the talent. The highest level is S level. Something didn't seem right. Fang Heng lowered his head and pondered to himself, isn't my talent level SSS level after evolving? Right, I'm a bug. Fang Heng quickly made a decision. He decided to choose the enhancement plan. The Dark Knight's NPC mercenaries are quite strong. But he didn't need them right now. 2 mercenaries guarding the prison was enough. After all, he only had 3 sniper rifles on hand. In addition, there were also vine zombies guarding the prison. Even if 10,000 more prison snakes came, they would all die. Fang Heng believed that the security of the prison was already guaranteed. Now that he had successfully joined the Dark Knights, he could slowly think of ways to accumulate survival points in the future. As long as he spent some time, he could exchange the points for mercenaries. However, the enhancement plan was different. If he missed this opportunity, it would be difficult to obtain it from other channels. Fang Heng believed that he could not stay stagnant at level 10 forever and not level up. Moreover, he had been waiting to get hold of the enhancement plan. The sooner he completed the talent enhancement and leveled up, the sooner he could widen the gap between him and the other players. I choose the enhancement plan. A smile appeared on David's face. He turned to look at Vettel and said, I told you, he will choose the enhancement plan. TSK, you were lucky. You've won. My treat tonight, let's get drunk. David handed over to Fang Heng the black scroll in his hand. This is the reward you deserve. You did a good job. In addition, these survival points are additional rewards given by the Dark Knights. Hint, delayed mission reward completion. Hint, you have obtained an individual talent enhancement plan, unappraised, level S, *1. Hint, you can use 1,000 survival points to appraise this plan. Hint, you have obtained an additional 19,299 survival points as compensation, system mission balance compensation, An additional 190,000 survival points could be used to transform a few more vine zombies. Fang Heng's attention was quickly attracted by the S-level enhancement plan. S-level. The highest level talent enhancement plan in the game. Let's see what the attributes were. When the plan was in his hands, Fang Heng immediately used up some points to appraise it. Hint, you have completed the appraisal by deducting 1,000 survival points. You have obtained an individual talent enhancement plan zombie clone summoning. Individual talent enhancement plan zombie clone summoning. Enhancement plan level, S. Enhancement description, you can complete the talent enhancement by gathering relevant materials. Enhancement effect description, you can use the summoning ability to forcefully summon your zombie clones. The maximum number of summons depends on the individual's basic attributes. To your side, cooldown time, 30 minutes. Fang Heng frowned slightly. The effect of the skill seemed to be very trashy. But thinking about it carefully, this skill had quite a lot of room for manipulation. For example, the simplest kind would be to get the zombies to transport goods, which would save a lot of time. In terms of combat, if Fang Heng wanted to attack the enemy's base, he could also sneak into the enemy's rear alone. Then, he snapped his fingers. A group of zombies instantly teleported into the enemy's base. But in the end, he was still not satisfied. Alright, Fang Heng, the mission reward has been given. I need to hurry up and rush back to the Dark Knights. Your findings in Hope Town are very useful for our team's internal research. Everyone is waiting for me to return. Hey, David, why are you in such a hurry? Didn't we agree to have a drink tonight? Next time. David got on his motorcycle and suddenly thought of something. He took out a map from his backpack and handed it to Fang Heng. I almost forgot. These are the locations of our Dark Knight strongholds nearby. You can contact us at any of these places at any time. Usually, we will also issue missions to the Dark Knights members there. Of course, if we encounter special trouble, we will also contact you through the Apocalypse Merchant Camp. We will meet again soon, friend. To save this world. After saying that, David waved his hand and drove away on his motorcycle. Most of the Dark Knights are like him. To save the world, they have been working hard. Vettel came over with 2 bottles of beer and handed one to Fang Heng. In my opinion, even in the apocalypse, you have to learn to balance work and life, right? Balancing work and life did not mean that you had to drink beer early in the morning. Fang Heng thought to himself. Fang Heng took the beer and clinked it with Vettel's. You're right, Vettel. Vettel gulped down a mouthful of beer. By the way, Fang Heng, someone came to look for you last night. Huh? Who? Mr. Chiu, the scientist with a weird temper. The one who asked you to deliver the goods last time. Chiu Yaokong. The guy who seemed to have a problem with his brain. Fang Heng nodded and asked, what did he say? He asked me to tell you that the potion you asked for has been prepared, and when you are free, to go and collect it. He also wanted you to take the goods you promised him along with you. Vettel was a little curious. Mr. Chiu rarely calls in person. What did you promise him? The evolution crystal fragments for research. Fang Heng pondered. It seemed that the potion that he asked Chiu Yaokong to make had been completed. Taking advantage of the fact that the zombies hadn't resurrected yet, he might as well go and look for Chiu Yaokong to get the potion first and increase his basic attributes. At the same time, he would also pass the second biggest reward of his trip to Hope Town, the life sample of Alex, to Chiu Yaokong. He would see if he could obtain some treasures from him. No matter what, he was still a high-level scientist in the game. What if he also had an S-level talent enhancement plan? Or a higher-level gene enhancer would not be too bad either. Fang Heng's heart was burning with passion. Vettel, I'll go look for him now. Do you need me to send some materials over on the way? Of course, you've done me another big favor, Fang Heng. After more than 3 hours, Fang Heng delivered a batch of survival materials to the villa where Chiu Yaokong lived. After getting out of the truck, Fang Heng skillfully sneaked into the back garden through the passage behind the bushes. Chiu Yaokong had already seen Fang Heng from the camera installed at the front door of the villa. In the back garden of the villa, Chiu Yaokong opened a small crack at the entrance of the basement passage, revealing half of his head from inside. You're finally here. Chiu Yaokong's expression was cold. Have you brought the goods? Goods? Evolution crystal fragments. I've brought them. Chiu Yaokong nodded his head in satisfaction and completely opened the door to the basement. He walked out of the basement and looked at Fang Heng from top to bottom. Help me move the materials in first. Thank you. I'll do it alone. Okay. During this period, Fang Heng's strength and vitality attributes had greatly increased. He could easily move a few heavy boxes by himself. After spending 10 minutes moving all the materials into the basement, Fang Heng went to the changing room and changed into a protective suit before entering Chiu Yaokong's laboratory. Hint: your behavior has received a slight increase in Chiu Yaokong's favorability. All the materials are in the corridor. Okay. Chiu Yaokong stood at the side and looked at Fang Heng coldly as usual. He noticed that Fang Heng's physical attributes had improved a little compared to the last time they met. Thank you for your help. You are more reliable than the other delivery people. Where are my goods? I'll give them to you now. Fang Heng waved his hand and took out more than 300 evolution crystal fragments from his backpack and piled them on the experimental table. Soon, the evolution crystal fragments piled up on the experimental table into a shiny hill. A look of surprise flashed across Chiu Yaokong's face, but he quickly hid it away. Is it enough? For the time being, it's enough. I would need more in the future. Chiu Yaokong pointed at a refrigerator in the corner of the laboratory. According to our agreement, the potions you need are all in the freezer. You can take them away at any time. All right. Fang Heng walked to the corner of the laboratory happily and opened the freezer. There were 10 bottles for each of the 3 gene enhancement potions neatly placed in the medicine box. Hint: you have obtained the gene enhancement potion *30. Your friendship with Chiu Yaokong has slightly improved. Hint: you have consumed 55 evolution crystal fragments. Your unstable gene condition has been cleared. Hint: You have used the modified zombie strength enhanced gene potion. You have not received any attribute enhancement. Hint, the effect will gradually decrease after multiple doses of this gene potion. Hint, you have obtained the gene chaotic state. Hint, your gene chaotic state has increased to 13%. Hint, you have used the modified zombie strength enhanced gene potion. Fang Heng injected himself with the potion while trying to strike up a conversation with Qiu Yaokong. Do you know where I've been these past few days? I don't know, and I'm not interested. I went to Hope Town. There's a community hospital there. I went there to take a look. Qiu Yaokong's back was facing Fang Heng. He didn't reply and continued sorting out the evolution crystal fragments on the test bench. Qiu Yaokong was very serious. He held each evolution crystal fragment in his hand and looked at it carefully. Good God, I found a secret research room inside. Fang Heng seemed to say it unintentionally, but in fact, he had been observing Qiu Yaokong. As expected, when he said the words, secret research room, Qiu Yaokong paused. Pretending. You are just pretending to be calm. Fang Heng thought. Fang Heng grinned and continued, it's a secret research room set up by the meteorite company before the zombie apocalypse. Guess what I found in it? Qiu Yaokong turned his head abruptly. What? Fang Heng extended his right fist, then put his index and middle fingers together and rubbed his thumb. He made a gesture that everyone understood. Qiu Yaokong looked at Fang Heng for a few seconds and then turned his back. Our deal has been completed. You can leave now. Ha ha ha, I was just joking with you and you took it seriously. Here, I specially brought this back for you. Fang Heng passed the research team's notebook that he had collected from the secret research room to Qiu Yaokong. Come, take a look at this. Qiu Yaokong did not turn around and said directly, I don't want to look at it. You can leave now. Ha, he was quite stubborn. Fang Heng did not care. He directly flipped open one of the pages of the team's research notebook and read it aloud in the laboratory. Firstly, using the T-virus can infect normal plants and produce mutated life forms. In our research, we found that the T-virus and the corpse vine have the best combination. We have infected. Qiu Yaokong listened and his hand involuntarily stopped. He turned around and looked at Fang Heng in a daze. Secondly, the corpse vine is different from normal plants. It has strong vitality and is extremely aggressive. Qiu Yaokong could not hold it in anymore. He quickly rushed in front of Fang Heng and grabbed the experiment notebook in Fang Heng's hand. Fang Heng didn't dodge and let him take the team experiment notebook. It was like fishing, he had to wait for it to bite the hook completely. Qiu Yaokong looked like he had found a treasure. He lowered his head and read silently. He quickly turned the page with his right hand. His eyes were full of concentration, excitement, and surprise. The fish had taken the bait. Fang Heng was happy. Alex's live specimen was worth a lot of money. He did not know what good stuff Qiu Yaokong could exchange for it. Fang Heng muttered softly. I have to think of a way to empty his family fortune. Qiu Yaokong was completely focused on the notebook at hand. He could not hear Fang Heng's muttering at all. After quickly flipping through the entire experimental notebook, Qiu Yaokong took a deep breath. He closed his eyes and pondered for a moment before flipping through the notebook again from the beginning. This time, Qiu Yaokong read every word carefully, not letting go of any details in the notebook. Fang Heng was not in a hurry. He yawned and waited for Qiu Yaokong to finish reading the entire notebook again. How is it? It's still useful to you, right? Don't say that I'm unkind. I even brought something back for you when I went this time. What? You even brought something back? Do you want to guess what I brought back for you? Qiu Yaokong stared at Fang Heng with a burning gaze. Tell me quickly. He. Fang Heng pretended to be mysterious and chuckled. I got a live sample of Alex from the secret research room. A live sample of Alex? Qiu Yaokong was so excited that his pupils dilated several times. He immediately pounced on Fang Heng. Quick! Give it to me. Don't get excited, don't get started. Fang Heng moved aside and said slowly, it's not that I can't give it to you, but don't you have to show your sincerity? Qiu Yaokong calmed down. He looked at Fang Heng. What do you want? Let me think. Are there any new potions recently? The kind that can increase attributes. The new gene potion is still under research. If you can provide me with a sample of Alex, I can greatly increase the progress of my research. Want to get it for free? That was impossible. Fang Heng raised his eyebrows vigilantly. Is that so? That's a pity. If you do this, it'll be very difficult for me. You should also know that Alex's live sample is very rare. Many people are looking for me to purchase it. Or think about it. What can you provide me? Qiu Yaokong sized up Fang Heng from head to toe. He focused his mind and thought for a moment before narrowing his eyes. Your talent should be reaching a bottleneck soon, right? Fang Heng was surprised. Eh? Do you also have a high-level talent enhancement plan? Qiu Yaokong shook his head. I don't, but I can help you make one. Fang Heng was stunned. Make? Do you know how to make an enhancement plan? What level type can you make? To be precise, it's fusion production. It requires 3 equal-level enhancement plans. I can help you research on fusion production and make a higher-level enhancement plan. For example, 3 B-level talent enhancement plans can be fused into 1 A-level talent enhancement plan. Qiu Yaokong said as he crushed the few evolution crystal fragments in his hand. Bang! The red mist was quickly absorbed by Qiu Yaokong's palm. After these few days of research on the evolution crystal fragments, I have also awakened my talent skill. There was such an operation. You're an NPC. Fang Heng's heart skipped a beat, and he immediately asked. Then what about 3 S-level plans? Is it possible to fuse into a higher level one? This. Qiu Yaokong hesitated for a moment. Theoretically, it's possible, but as far as I know, an A-level talent enhancement plan is already extremely rare. Are you sure you can find an S-level talent enhancement plan? Of course, I can. Fang Heng was overjoyed. He had already obtained 1 S-level talent enhancement plan from the Dark Knights. He had to think of a way to obtain 1 more from the Phoenix Sound Gaming Company to make 2. He was only missing the last one. He had to think of another way. It was not impossible to obtain it. Oh right. I can collect 3 A-level talent enhancement plans and fuse them into 1 S-level talent enhancement plan. Seeing Fang Heng's delighted expression, Qiu Yaokong reminded him. Don't be too happy. Let me remind you that the enhancement plan that has already been fused once cannot be fused again. This. Fang Heng's excitement was immediately reduced by more than half. In other words, don't even think about using 9 B-level enhancement plans to create an S-level enhancement plan. Moreover, the fusion materials also require evolution crystals as a medium. You will need to be responsible for this part. That's not a problem. Also, using this talent will cause a lot of damage to my body. After 1 fusion, it will take at least a year for me to fully recover. I will take a live sample of Alex from you as payment. Qiu Yaokong looked at Fang Heng. I need you to provide me with a sample of Alex so that I can start a new research project. This is the premise of our cooperation. Do you think you can accept it? Hint: player mission triggered cooperative research and development. Mission name: cooperative research and development. Mission description: within 30 days, you can hand over 3 talent enhancement plans of the same level, the highest level is S level, to Qiu Yaokong. He will help you fuse into a higher level talent enhancement plan, the highest level is SSS level. Mission requirement: Alex live sample *1. Time limit: 30 days. Fang Heng carefully read the mission description. It was indeed correct. Just like his own talent attribute, there was a higher level, the SSS level, hidden above the S level. However, to reach SSS level, it required extremely harsh conditions to trigger it. Deal. Fang Heng had no reason to reject and immediately accepted the mission. He handed over a sample of Alex's research. I'll find 3 enhancement plans as soon as possible and bring them back. As soon as possible. You only have 30 days. Hint: your friendship with Qiu Yaokong has improved slightly. Where could he find the last S-level talent enhancement plan? Driving the military truck out of the villa, Fang Heng had a slight headache. A few major forces in the game might have it. However, such a high-value enhancement plan would be fought over internally by the major guilds and would not be sold to the public at all. If he really could not do it, he could only try his luck on the black market. The black market was shady and illicit, and there were many scammers. Being cheated of money was a small matter. Wasting time and delaying the development of the game was the worst loss. Fang Heng did not want to go to the black market unless it was necessary. It was better to take it one step at a time and get the enhancement plan of the Phoenix Sound Gaming Company first. At the moment, he still needed to deal with the Dawn Game Guild first. Back in the prison, 2 elite soldiers of the Dark Knight stood at the entrance of the prison and reported to Fang Heng. "Sir. The elite soldiers of the Dark Knights reporting to you." Liao Bufan watched from the side and was extremely envious. Heavens! They were from the Dark Knights. They were the highest-level mercenaries that could be recruited in the game. The number of mercenaries was extremely limited. If one died, there would be one less mercenary. Only large-scale forces like the Federation would be able to get their hands on them. Even if ordinary players could get their hands on them, they would not be able to afford them. In the past, Liao Bufan had seen a few pictures in the forum. He did not expect to see the real thing with his own eyes today. It was said that these highest-level NPC mercenaries had extremely high intelligence. If he got on good terms with them, he might even be able to learn some basic skills from them. "I need you to enter the sentry tower and take turns to guard it 24 hours a day. If strangers are lurking within the 20-meter area outside the prison, you are allowed to fire a warning shot. If they do not follow the warning and continue to intrude, you can directly shoot and kill them." "Yes, sir." Fang Heng gave each of the 2 mercenaries a sniper rifle and told them to go to the sentry post. "Fang Heng, I'll go and take a look too." Liao Bufan was very envious. He followed them to the sentry post and wondered if he could learn some skills from them. After watching Liao Bufan leave, Fang Heng glanced at the game log. Soon. There were only 10 minutes left before the zombies resurrected. Inside the residence remodeled by the Dawn Guild. After the fierce battle last night, the morale of Prisoner Snake's team was extremely low. "Brother Snake, we sneaked a look outside the mine just now. Those zombies are still inside. There's also bad news. The residence that we built 2 days ago was demolished." The room was completely silent. The temporary residence in the mine had been destroyed. 2 days of hard work had gone down the drain. Even the smelting furnace and other items that the guild had spent a large sum of money on were still in the residence. No one would feel good after hearing this news. Prisoner Snake's face turned even paler when he heard this. It was over. The Dawn Guild had invested a large amount of King of Gods points in the construction of the mine. If he didn't think of a way to regain the mine as soon as possible, the higher-ups of the guild would tear him apart when they heard the news. Bang. Prisoner Snake had nowhere to vent his anger, so he kicked the corner of the table. **N**. He couldn't understand why the zombies were targeting him. It was the same last time, and now it was happening again. The attacks were getting stronger and stronger each time. Why was his luck so bad? Why was he the only one who was unlucky? Then, he compared his predicament to the group of people in the prison. How could they occupy the prison so easily? Why didn't the zombies look for them? Suddenly, Prisoner Snake's eyes lit up. Got it. Prison. Weren't those people very well equipped? Weren't the mutated zombies they encountered last night very strong? What would happen if the 2 of them fought? As the saying goes, if a snipe and a clam are locked in a fight, it is only to the advantage of the fisherman. With a single move, they would lure the mutated zombies to the prison. The more Prisoner Snake thought about it, the more he felt that this plan was feasible. When the time came, no matter who won or lost, he would not lose anything. It would be best if both sides suffered losses, and he would reap the benefits by himself. He would reap the benefits. "Brothers, I have an idea." Prisoner Snake smiled sinisterly and briefly told everyone about his plan to lure the zombies to enter the prison. When the players heard his plan, they were enlightened. It was feasible. The Vine zombies had high HP and strong close combat abilities, but their movement speed was still as slow as a normal zombie. The risk of luring these zombies was not high. "Alright, pack your equipment, and let's set off now." Prisoner Snake was determined to make up for his mistakes. He made a prompt decision and led the players back to the mine once again. In the abandoned mine, a few zombies were continuously digging iron ores with pickaxes. The remaining zombie was moving the iron ores from the mine back and forth, piling them up in a corner. This scene puzzled Prisoner Snake and his people who were observing in the dark. What was going on? What were these zombies doing? Were they working together to mine? Since when did zombies have such high intelligence? A player nudged Prisoner Snake, who was in a daze. "Brother Snake, what do you say?" Prisoner Snake gritted his teeth. "Go." The Dawn Guild was already very dissatisfied with him. This was his last chance. Prisoner Snake carefully took out his wooden bow from his backpack and aimed at the zombies. Whoosh! Due to the distance, when the arrow landed on the vine zombie's back, it had already lost most of its power and was repelled by the vine armor under its skin. Ka! Being attacked, the vine zombie paused and turned around to look at Prisoner Snake and the others. "Shoot the arrows." Prisoner Snake waved his hand. More than 10 people raised their wooden bows at the same time. Swoosh! 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 Another round of arrows rained down. The vine zombies who were carrying the iron ores turned around at the same time. They threw down the pickaxes in their hands and rushed toward Prisoner Snake and the others while swaying. It worked. Seeing that the zombie clones were attracted over, Prisoner Snake was overjoyed. "Quick! Lure them to the prison." Prisoner Snake immediately led the players out of the mine. Luring zombies was not as easy as they had imagined. They needed to master a certain degree of control. Prisoner Snake found that these zombies seemed to have a special obsession with the mine. When they were far away, the vine zombies would turn around and run back to the mine. At this time, they needed to attack them again to attract their attention. Prisoner Snake spent a lot of energy and more than an hour luring the zombies to the vicinity of the prison. None of the 8 mutated zombies escaped. Seeing that the prison was just ahead, Prisoner Snake was excited. He had confidence in these mutated zombies. These mutated zombies could bring a lot of trouble to the people in the prison. Maybe they could even directly break through the entire prison. "We're almost there. Brothers. Work harder. Take the opportunity to break through the prison." Prisoner Snake shouted to them to raise their spirits. At this time, he suddenly noticed that the game log popped up several red warning boxes. Hint: you've received an emergency message from the survival radio. Hint: you've received an emergency message from the survival radio. Hint: you've received an emergency message from the survival radio. Hint: you've received an emergency message from the survival. Prisoner Snake's expression changed slightly, and an ominous feeling rose in his heart. So urgent. Could it be that something had happened to the residents? Prisoner Snake quickly opened the survival radio to check. The players who stayed in the shelter sent messages one after another. "Zhou Yu, Brother Snake. Not good, the residence is being attacked by a zombie crowd. Zhou Yu, it's the same as last night, they're all mutated zombies. We can't stop them. Fang Heng, zombies. There are so many zombies, 30 to 40 of them. Brother Snake, come back, we can't hold them off with just a few of us here. Fang Heng, Brother Snake, we have escaped. Wang Zhen, Brother Snake, the zombies are starting to demolish our shelter, we can't do anything. Fang Heng, Brother Snake, come back quickly. If you don't come back soon, our shelter will be torn down." Looking at the emergency messages that kept coming from the survival radio, Prisoner Snake broke out in cold sweat. God. The zombies besieged his base. They even started tearing down his shelter. It was the same situation as last night when the abandoned mine was attacked. Were these zombies crazy? Who did he offend? Why did the game system keep targeting him? If the shelter was demolished, how would he survive the night? Should he go back to rescue, or should he continue? Prisoner Snake was in a mess. "Brother Snake, we're almost at the prison. There seems to be someone in the watchtower over there." Prisoner Snake raised his head and looked at the watchtower in the prison. The watchtower was still damaged when he came here a few days ago, but it had been repaired in the past 2 days. They should have noticed us already. Should we continue to charge? Prisoner Snake gritted his teeth. He was going to give it his all. His plan was about to be completed and the prison was right in front of him. How could he give up now? He only needed 5 minutes. He just needed another 5 minutes. Even zombies couldn't demolish their residences so quickly. Prisoner Snake comforted himself. He quickly sent a message to tell the team that they were on their way back, asking them to delay as much as possible. Let's go. Let's go. Prisoner Snake took the lead and quickly ran a few steps forward. He knew that the area in front of him was the prison. There were NPC mercenaries in the prison. As long as he entered the prison's detection area and made a provocative move to attack the prison, with the intelligence of those mercenaries, they would choose to shoot. At that time, the gunshots would attract the group of mutated zombies behind him. A perfect plan. It was time to gamble his life. At such a long distance, the lethality of the pistol would not be too high, and the accuracy would be greatly reduced. As long as his luck was not too bad, his life would not be in danger. Brothers, charge with me. Prisoner Snake shouted loudly, and together with his subordinates, they charged towards the prison. Kill. Kill them all. The players knew that this was the chance to fight with their lives on the line. They quickly ran and shouted as they charged towards the prison, using this to attract the attention of the NPC guards on the watchtower. Bang. There was a gunshot. It was done. The moment he heard the gunshot, Prisoner Snake's heart calmed down. However, the next moment, Prisoner Snake's face turned pale. He saw the head of a player who was running in front of him explode. Prisoner Snake's body was still moving forward, but his mind was blank. Bang. Another gunshot. Blood splattered on Prisoner Snake's right cheek. Prisoner Snake subconsciously turned his head. The head of one of his subordinates on his right exploded again, and his body swayed as he fell to the ground. It was a sniper rifle. It could cause such a wound from such a long distance. Only sniper rifles could do such damage in the zombie apocalypse game. They had sniper rifles. Not only did this group of people have sniper rifles, but some people could use them. It was over. It was all over. Run. As many as possible. Prisoner Snake turned his head and shouted at the players who were running towards the prison. Quick. Just as the words left his mouth. Bang. A gunshot sounded. Prisoner Snake's head exploded in front of the players. Bang. 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 On the tower, Liao Bufan stood beside the elite mercenary of the Dark Knights. Every time he pulled the trigger, every gunshot would cause a player's head to explode. Strong. He was too strong. With such combat ability, why would he be afraid of the Dawn Guild? As expected of the elite NPC of the Dark Knights. Every shot was accurate. From the looks of it, he should be at least a level 10 gun mastery expert, right? Liao Bufan was extremely envious. But the members of the Dawn Guild are so strange. Why are they rushing here to die? And they're still shouting. Are they afraid that we won't know? Liao Bufan felt that it was strange. He stuck his head out and continued to look outside the prison. He silently looked at the players of Dawn who were trying to escape outside. Every one of them was shot in the head by a sniper rifle. Sigh. If they want to send themselves to death, I can't even stop them. Bang. 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 Gunshots rang out one after another. In less than 2 minutes, all the players that Prisoner Snake had brought along were shot in the head. None of them survived. The zombies that were originally chasing after Prisoner Snake and the others paused when they saw that they were all dead. They seemed to have understood something. They staggered back and continued to mine. Hint, your zombie group has completed the dismantling of the player's shelter. You have obtained firewood *35, 722, nails *145, rags *53, scrap metal *156, scrap plastic *27. Hint, through dismantling, you have obtained a skill strengthen the body experience points plus 5,511. Hint, your skill strengthen the body level has been upgraded to level 4. The soundproof effect in the underground shelter was very good. Fang Heng sat in front of the bonfire. He did not even know that a few hours ago, the prisoners outside had been completely wiped out by the elite mercenaries of the Dark Knights. Strange, the resistance in the base seems to be very weak. Logically speaking, Dawn Guild is not so weak. Fang Heng muttered to himself. He felt as if he had punched cotton. Could it be that Prisoner Snake and his gang were coincidentally not in the shelter? Whatever. In any case, the Dawn players' residences had already been completely demolished. Their best option now was to find a new residence before nightfall. Perhaps, Prisoner Snake was too hot-headed and he chose to risk his life to forcefully occupy the prison. If that was the case, he would be sending himself to his death. After solving the issues of the security upgrade of the shelter and the troublesome neighbor, Dawn Guild, Fang Heng began to carry out the next step of the shelter's development plan. First, he set a small goal. To build the largest, strongest, most comfortable, and most stable shelter in District 8 of the zombie apocalypse. To become the strongest force in District 8 of the zombie apocalypse. Fang Heng was fervently setting his goals. During the apocalypse, there would be a blood moon every once in a while. At that time, the zombies would go berserk and the perception abilities of the zombies would be greatly enhanced. They would form groups and crazily attack the players' residences and shelters. That was what the players called the zombie wave. At that time, once the defensive ability of the players' residences and shelters could not keep up with the fall, they would completely die in the zombie wave. As the game went on, the intensity of the zombie wave would increase more and more. Now, Fang Heng's prison shelter was guarded by 2 dark knights holding sniper rifles, and there were also powerful vine zombies. Fang Heng believed that his prison could survive at least 4 or 5 rounds of Blood Moon. While the other players were still building shelters, he had already completed the construction of a super-large shelter. He had even completed the safety upgrade of the shelter ahead of schedule. Now, he could enter the 3rd phase of the game, which was expansion and competition for resources. With the prison as the starting point, he would gradually spread his influence to the surrounding area, occupying a large amount of territory and collecting large amounts of resources. Fang Heng was already 2 steps ahead of all the players. He had a huge advantage. The forest environment has the most abundant wood resources. Fang Heng thought silently in his heart. With the free labor of the zombie clones, I can do this step more thoroughly. I can eliminate any future troubles. I might as well just directly remove all the system shelters, residences, and so on that were initially spawned in the forest area. Doing this could greatly reduce the probability of the King of Gods spawning new players nearby, preventing other players from entering the forest area. After all, when the zombie clones encountered players, it was very easy to stir trouble. Fang Heng was not timid, but he was very afraid of trouble. Having made up his mind, he controlled the zombie clones to split into 2 groups. The zombie clones in the smaller group held small stone hammers and explored the paths along the small paths in the forest. They began to search for the buildings hidden in the forest. If they encountered small wooden buildings, they would immediately start tearing them down. If they encountered higher-level brick houses, they would first mark them down. Then, they would ask Liao Bufan to bring a gasoline barrel and burn them down. Then, they would tear it down. On the other hand, we need to stock up on available resources and continue to level up and expand the shelter. The abandoned iron mine is a good thing. Fang Heng muttered to himself. He controlled the remaining zombie clones to return to the abandoned iron mine and start mining. Iron ore was an extremely important advanced material in the game. With iron nuggets made from iron ore, players could use them to make higher-level equipment and tools. For example, small hammers, shovels, pickaxes and so on. The destructive power of small iron hammers was at least twice as strong as small stone hammers. It greatly increased the efficiency of the zombies demolishing the residences. The Dawn Guild is pretty good. They gave me a few furnaces and modules for free, so I don't have to spend points to buy them at the merchant's camp. I estimate that the zombies' first batch of tools will be completed very soon by night. After giving the instructions to the zombie clones, Fang Heng made a simple bed in the shelter and went offline immediately. While the zombies were hacking, he could start to find a way to enhance his S-level talent. After going offline, Fang Heng came out of the game cabin. He then realized that he hadn't been to the gaming company for 2 days. He remembered that Shenqing had told him 3 days ago that 5 rookies would join Team 12. Oh no, could they still be waiting for him? Phoenix Sound Gaming Company. The newly established Team 12. Pei Anin and a few rookies had been waiting for Fang Heng for 2 whole days. They were anxious. The few rookies were even more troubled. The rookies who had been assigned to the other teams at the same time as them had already started working, but they were still sitting there foolishly. They had just joined the company. If they failed the internship evaluation, they might be fired. What should they do? The team leader was still not coming. They were also very desperate. Just as they were worried, Fang Heng stood up instantly. Team leader. The others also stood up and sized up the new team leader. Oh, we're all rookies, right? There's no need to be so formal. Come, take a seat. Fang Heng waved his hand and gestured for everyone to return to their seats. The rookies sat upright as they listened to Fang Heng assign tasks. Fang Heng had thought of asking President Qin directly. Unfortunately, the other party's voice notification indicated that she was in the game and could not be connected. Fang Heng, you know that our company has an S-level talent enhancement plan, right? Ah. Fang Heng responded with an ah. She hurriedly lowered her head and flipped through her notebook. Yes, we do. Please wait a moment, team leader. Do you know? Fang Heng was a little surprised. He thought that the S-level talent enhancement plan was confidential within the company and that Fang Heng might not have known about it. Yeah, you didn't attend yesterday's team meeting about the zombie apocalypse game. I attended it on your behalf. During the meeting, we discussed the distribution of the S-level talent enhancement plan. There were some problems in the vampire apocalypse game these days. President Qin personally brought people into the game to deal with them. President Li is temporarily in charge of the zombie apocalypse game. The team leaders are not very satisfied with the allocation plan that President Li has set. They discussed it for a long time. Fang Heng frowned. Team leader Fang, are you interested in this mission? Yes, tell me in detail. What qualifications do I need to get it? In the end, President Li made the decision. According to the principle of fair competition, at the beginning of next month, a performance appraisal will be conducted for all the game teams of the company's zombie apocalypse game in the first half of the year. In the end, the team with the highest overall performance will obtain the allocation authority for the S-level talent enhancement plan. Due to the difficulty and other reasons, there is a high probability that the mission of the enhancement plan will not be completed. Therefore, once the first-ranked team is unable to complete it within 3 days, it will automatically be handed over to the second-ranked team, and so on. Performance appraisal. Fang Heng's brows were tightly knitted together as he realized that the situation was not looking good. Fang Heng, how's the performance of our team? We're a newly established department. Not long ago, team leader Fang completed a mission from the Federation and obtained 5,000 performance points. Therefore, our total is 5,000 performance points, temporarily placing us in 12th place. 12th. Last place. The meeting room was quiet. Fang Heng lowered his head and pondered. He didn't plan to stay in the company for long. With the rapid increase in strength in the game, there was no need for him to stay in the gaming company. It was the best choice for him to resign early and leave the company to focus on personal development. He might as well take advantage of this opportunity. Strive to perform as much as possible, and when he obtained the S-level talent enhancement plan, he could just resign and leave. He had also contributed to the company in return for the enhancement plan. Both sides took what they needed, and neither owed the other. At the beginning of next month, there are still 5 days left. I need to earn enough performance points. Having made up his mind, Fang Heng muttered softly and raised his head. All right, then our team's focus will be on performance. We'll strive to get the first place within 5 days. The rookies raised their heads and looked at Fang Heng with a strange expression. Was he sure about that? Others used more than half a year to accumulate so much performance, yet he's planning to use 5 days to surpass them. Wouldn't this be too far-fetched? The rookies were silent. Fang Heng didn't care. He turned to look at Fang Heng. Fang Heng, help me prepare a report for the S-level talent enhancement plan. After you're done, submit it directly. Okay. Also, what about the company's performance acquisition method? Is there a detailed explanation? Yes. Fang Heng took out a long printed proposal and handed it to Fang Heng. Fang Heng opened the document and looked at it carefully. There were 2 types of performance in Phoenix Sound Gaming Company. The first type was basic performance. The composition of basic performance was quite complicated and was based on the individual team's performance. For example, the resources that each team submitted to the company, the monthly income of the shelter within the territory, and so on. If one completed more than the quota, they could receive additional performance points. The second type was mission performance. The company would release some missions from time to time. Each team could apply for these missions. After completing them, they could obtain mission performance points. Fang Heng's gaze quickly swept across the A4 paper, looking for mission performances that could be completed. Deep cooperation with the Federation. Phoenix Sound Gaming Company signed a deep cooperation agreement with the Federation. The Federation would purchase some materials from the company. Among them were familiar items such as food, wooden plank, coal, iron, and so on. The various working teams of the company only needed to collect the materials and hand them over to the Federation to obtain the corresponding performance points. Because it was a new district, the price offered by the Federation was very high. A piece of wooden plank could be directly exchanged for 1 performance point. This was good. Fang Heng did a quick estimation mentally. The company's Team 7 had achieved 17,000 performance points in the first half of the year. In other words, just to be safe, he only needed to submit 150 million sets of wooden planks and he would be able to steadily obtain an S-level talent enhancement plan. It was equivalent to using a batch of wood resources to exchange for an S-level talent enhancement plan. It was not a loss. Then that's it. From tomorrow onwards, we will send wooden planks to the Federation. Fang Heng looked at the 5 rookies. Leave your IDs and join the game in 3 hours. When that time comes, I will invite you all into my shelter. Wooden planks. The rookies looked at each other when they heard that. Logically speaking, shouldn't the first step after entering the game be to gather resources, expand and reinforce the shelter's defenses? The wooden planks were difficult to synthesize and required energy points to produce. If they didn't even have enough for themselves, where would they get more wooden planks to give to the Federation? The King of Gods game server transfer requirements were very harsh. Other than meeting the level requirement, after the server transfer, players would only retain King of Gods points and skills. All other equipment would be emptied. In addition, the server transfer required 1 additional King of Gods point. For the vast majority of ordinary players, they would never be able to obtain 1 King of Gods point. Lu Wei and the other 4 rookies from Phoenix Sound Gaming Company were the same. They waited in the King of Gods space for a full 3 hours before they received Fang Heng's invitation and officially entered the game. Sigh. This team leader doesn't seem too reliable. After completing the server transformation, Lu Wei silently prayed in his heart, hoping that he could smoothly pass the company's trial period. When he opened his eyes, Lu Wei was a little surprised by what he saw. This was the square? The prison? Why were they here? Didn't leader Fang Heng say that he would invite them to his shelter? What was going on here? Could it be? This was his shelter. As Lu Wei was puzzled by the scene in front of him, the remaining rookies also appeared in the prison square. Ahem, welcome. You are all rookies from Phoenix Sound Gaming Company, right? Everyone turned their heads. They saw a fat man in a short-sleeved shirt swaggering out of a house. Let me introduce myself. I am Liao Bufan. Fang Heng is currently busy with other matters. I will temporarily arrange your work schedules for the next few days. Let me first tell you about the rules here. Liao Bufan pointed at building number 3 behind him. Take a good look. This building is where you will be carrying out your activities. The rooms on the 2nd floor are all empty. You can go in and rest in any room. NPCs will arrange the meals for you every day. Meals will start at 8 a.m., 11 a.m., and 7 p.m. on the dot. If you miss it, there will be nothing left. Food and water are in warehouse number 2 on the 1st floor. If you miss the meal or need to eat, you can take them yourself. The prerequisite is that you are not allowed to take them out of the prison. Oh right, be extra careful. You are not allowed to enter the locked basement. This is the rule set by boss Fang Heng. If anyone breaks the rule, don't blame me for turning hostile. A single room for rest. NPCs prepared 3 meals a day. Food and water could be taken casually. Lu Wei was confused like the other players. Was he here for survival or a vacation? Why was it different from the tough survival that was mentioned in the company's internal training? What happened to tough survival, desperately fighting zombies and overcoming difficulties in gathering materials to build a shelter? Was there a mistake? Any other questions? Lu Wei carefully raised his hand and asked, "Is this the shelter set up by leader Fang Heng?" "Yes, you're lucky to be with Big Brother." Another rookie also raised his hand. "Then what do we need to do?" "Well, your mission for the next 2 days is very simple. You need to go outside and pick up logs." Liao Bufan walked in front of the crowd in a carefree manner. "Don't worry about the rest. Just go outside and pick up the logs. Remember to divide them after you pick them up. According to the grade of the logs, throw them all on the prison square. Also, put the honey you pick up in the food area. That's about it. Go outside and pick up the logs." What kind of operation was this? Lu Wei became even more confused when he heard that. Did he think that logs could be found all over the streets? That they could be picked up if they wanted to? "Don't just stand there, hurry up. We won't go out after dark." Liao Bufan urged the rookies who were still in a state of confusion. "Come, I'll bring all of you out to familiarize yourselves with the terrain." Lu Wei was still in a state of confusion. Just like the others, he was inexplicably brought out of the prison by Liao Bufan. Outside the prison, Liao Bufan pointed to the east side of the prison. "See, there are logs all over the ground. You can just pick them up." Everyone looked in the direction that Liao Bufan pointed to, and all of them had shocked expressions on their faces. They saw bits and pieces on the breach outside the prison and they were all logs. This. Lu Wei looked at his other companions. What happened to this server? Why was it different from what he had learned in the company's training? Why were there so many logs on the ground? Do they just need to randomly pick them up? Hint: during the period when you are offline, your zombie group has explored 4 residences and completed the demolition of 1 residence. You have obtained firewood *723, nails *13. Hint: during the period when you are offline, your zombie group has completed 166 tree felling. You have obtained skill strength in the body experience points plus 882. You have obtained 4,992 logging experience points. Hint: during the period when you are offline, your zombie group has collected iron ores *2, 331. You have gained an additional gold ore *2. You have completed the production of iron ore *121. You have gained skill miner's wisdom experience points plus 2,033. Hint: your logging level has been upgraded to level 10. Hint: your skill miner's wisdom level has been upgraded to level 7. Inside the abandoned mine, Fang Heng checked the rewards from the hack. Ordinary iron ores needed to be calcined by a furnace to form iron nuggets, which took a lot of time. The hack had only obtained 121 iron nuggets for almost a whole day. With iron nuggets, he could upgrade low-level tools to make iron tools. Good. We have officially entered the Iron Age. Fang Heng muttered to himself as an automatic channeling bar appeared above his head. He created a small iron hammer. Hint: you have completed the creation of a small iron hammer. Your basic production experience points plus 11. After the production was completed, Fang Heng waved the newly created small iron hammer in his hands a few times. Item: small iron hammer. Damage: 10 to 12. Description: an advanced survival tool. It can be used to destroy and disassemble more efficiently. Description: an advanced version of the Hammer of God. In theory, you can use it to break apart everything. Fang Heng put away the iron hammer in satisfaction. He could first craft an iron axe to increase his logging efficiency as much as possible and complete the Federation's delivery mission. An iron axe for logging required 2 sets of iron nuggets. The current amount of iron nuggets was enough to equip an entire zombie team. As for making an iron hammer to demolish the surrounding area, he decided to put it aside for a few days. Currently, due to the limited number of furnaces, a large portion of the iron ore had already been piled up and couldn't be calcined in time. Fang Heng simply left the last 2 zombie clones to control the furnace, bringing the zombie clones and the completed iron pieces back to the prison. When they returned to the prison, batches of logs were already piled up in the prison square. This batch of toolmakers did a good job. Fang Heng murmured and walked to a pile of logs. Item: logs. Quality: Level 2, Normal. Description: the products of cutting down trees can be made into wooden planks, firewood and so on. The quality of logs in the game was divided into 5 grades, from low to high. Grade 1 was inferior, Grade 2 was ordinary, Grade 3 was better, Grade 4 was excellent and Grade 5 was perfect. The higher the quality of the logs, the higher the quality of the wood made. In the early stages, buildings made of high quality wood could withstand higher damage. In addition, in the later stages of the game, some high-level items would be limited to the use of high-level raw materials. For example, in the middle stages of the game, commonly used materials, reinforced solid wooden planks. Its synthetic materials were wooden planks, Grade 4 or Grade 5, *5 plus glue *2 plus waste compound *2. When the reinforced solid wooden planks were completed, they could provide 3 times the durability of ordinary wooden planks. Currently, most of the logs piled up on the prison grounds were Grade 1 to 3, whereas Grade 4 to 5 was quite rare. The wooden plank requirement list of the Federation didn't specify the quality of the logs. One set of logs was equal to one sum of money. There's a loophole. Fang Heng rubbed his hands. Since the price was the same, he would naturally hand over the low-quality logs to the Federation first. He would keep the good ones for himself. There was nothing wrong with that. Fang Heng still controlled the zombie crowd and divided it into 2 groups. One group of zombies used the newly made iron axes and continued to cut the trees in the east direction with the prison as the center. The other group of zombies stayed in the prison square and started to make wooden planks. Without steel blocks, Fang Heng could not make a sawing table for the time being. He could only use the most basic manual method to make wooden planks. For most ordinary players, making 10 wooden planks a day would consume all of their vitality points. However, the zombie clones were different. They had unlimited vitality points. 4 zombies were responsible for moving the logs back and forth, and 3 zombies were responsible for moving the finished wood planks and piling them up in the corner of the prison square. The remaining zombie clones lined up in a row, and the assembly line began to make the wooden planks. Fang Heng spent a full half an hour completing the single-threaded zombie planning, forming a perfect assembly line that adjusted the efficiency of the zombies to the highest. Good. The wooden plank production line is completed. Fang Heng felt satisfied. He wiped the sweat off his forehead and let out a huge sigh of relief as a sense of achievement rose in his heart. According to this efficiency, it wouldn't take 5 days at all. He estimated that he could complete 15,000 wooden planks at most within 2 days. The next day, Lu Wei and the few rookies entered Team 12 of the company to work. They entered the game together and headed to the restaurant on the first floor to eat breakfast together. They still wanted a free breakfast. In the game, as long as the basic ingredients were prepared properly, even if it was a level 1 cooking skill, the food prepared according to the recipe would still be very delicious. While they were eating, the few rookies whispered to each other. That fatty is a liar. Who says he isn't? In the future, if anyone tells me that picking up logs is easy, I promise to slap them in the face. That's right. That *n fatty. Lu Wei nodded in his heart. He even said that picking up logs was easy. What a joke. After picking up logs for nearly an entire afternoon yesterday, everyone's back was aching and their legs were cramping. Lu Wei was even worse off. He didn't sleep well last night and even carried logs in his dreams. But we should be able to take a break today. That's right. We've already picked up so many logs. If we continue, the entire prison square might not be able to hold them. I was thinking that the task the team leader received was to transport the wooden planks. Why would he need so many logs? The Federation doesn't even accept them. Don't tell me he wants us to produce the wooden planks with our hands later. Produce them with our hands. Are you kidding me? How many can we produce with our hands alone? Let's hear what the team leader has to say. The team leader should have a plan. While they were talking in low voices, they heard footsteps approaching from afar and they stopped talking at the same time. Hey, everyone is here. It must have been tough yesterday. Boss Fang said that you guys can have a share of the mission performance when we go back. Liao Bufan walked into the restaurant. He was in a good mood. He used to do the heavy work of moving wooden planks. Now that he had these tollmen, he could finally watch others do the work. We have to work hard today. After dinner, we'll go downstairs and help load the goods. Load the goods? The rookies looked confused. Lu Wei murmured in his heart. Sell the logs directly. It's not impossible. But this server is a little strange, the world is full of randomly picked logs. Are you sure these logs can be sold for money? After breakfast, Lu Wei and the rookies returned to the prison square. Lu Wei was stunned. Where are the logs? Where are the logs that were picked up yesterday? What the hell? Yesterday, there were piles of logs in the square, but why did they disappear overnight? Hey, look, over there. A rookie pointed to the right side of the square. In the right corner of the square, pieces of wooden planks were piled up messily, accumulating into a few hills. What was going on? In just one night, all the logs collected yesterday had turned into wooden planks. How did he do it? There was no such operation in the rookie training manual of Phoenix Sound Gaming Company. While the rookies were bewildered, they saw a military truck coming from behind and stopping in front of a few piles of wooden planks in the corner. Liao Bufan jumped out of the truck. Looking at these rookies who were dumbfounded, Liao Bufan felt as though he was seeing his younger self. There was a time when he was as ignorant as these people. Brothers, stop looking. The wooden planks were arranged by the boss. Quickly come and help. Load the wooden planks onto the truck. Liao Bufan shook his head. Of course, he would not foolishly expose his boss's secret. The boss said that these are to be delivered to the Federation. When the time comes, they will all be counted as part of your work performance. Don't slack off. These wooden planks were all handled by leader Fang Heng alone. Lu Wei and the others were all in a state of shock. The boss used to cheat. Immediately, everyone was ecstatic. Performance. They didn't know how leader Fang Heng turned so many logs into wooden planks in one night, nor did they know where the boss bought the cheat. But they did know one thing. There were at least a few thousand pieces of wooden planks piled up in that mountain. One piece of the wooden plank was equivalent to 1 performance point. That was a few thousand performance points. With these few thousand team performance points, not to mention the internship period, just the company's bonus alone would be enough to make their hands go weak. The promotion and salary increment was right in front of their eyes. 3 hours later. At the Federation Temporary Warehouse Resource Point outside Hope Town. A truck filled with wooden planks was parked at the back of the warehouse. The Federation players began to unload the wooden planks into the warehouse one after another. Just by looking at the quantity, there were only 500 to 600 wooden planks in a truck. It was indeed not a lot. However, in the early stages of the game, all kinds of resources were extremely scarce. Very few factions were able to produce so many wooden planks at once. Chen Yu heard that Fang Heng had brought a batch of wood resources over, so he especially ran over to greet Fang Heng. Fang Heng, I didn't expect to see you so soon. Have you thought about what I suggested last time? You mean join the Federation? I'm sorry, I don't like to be tied down. Okay. Chen Yu didn't have much hope. On the contrary, he was curious about where Fang Heng got so many wooden planks. The Federation is currently setting up shelters and resource collection points in various places. We are quite lacking in resources like wooden planks. This time, you have solved a pressing problem. By the way, where did you get so many wooden planks? Sigh. It's a long story. It took us a lot of effort to get them. We were preparing them for our use. Fang Heng did not want to tell Chen Yu that he could pick up any wooden plank in his prison base. This would cause the value of the wooden planks to depreciate rapidly. He pretended to sigh. I heard that the Federation is short of resources and the company has given an order. Hence, I immediately sent it over to you guys. That's really. I'm really sorry. Chen Yu scratched his head in embarrassment. I'll go talk to the commander and ask him to pay more money to your company. No need, no need. However, I would like to ask you about something. Does your Federation have an S-level talent enhancement plan? This. Chen Yu hesitated for a moment. He looked at Fang Heng and thought to himself, isn't it a little too early to look for an S-level talent enhancement plan? After all, level 10 was still a long way off. There is, but we usually don't give an S-level talent enhancement plan to outsiders. Is that so? Fang Heng was a little disappointed. Chen Yu took the opportunity to suggest, if you're willing to join the Federation, I believe that the commander will definitely help you find a suitable enhancement plan. No, once anyone joined the Federation, they would be bounded and lose their freedom. It was very troublesome. Fang Heng had never planned to join the Federation. It seemed like he could only place his hopes on the black market for the final S-level talent enhancement plan. He wanted to see if he could find any information related to high-level missions there. Fang Heng was thinking in his heart. Oh right, there's one more thing. Our Phoenix Sound Gaming Company has prepared a lot of wooden planks for the Federation. It's just that there's a problem with the transportation. It's a long journey from the base to here. A round trip takes 6 hours. Can you think of a way to solve it? Chen Yu was stunned. What? Your company still has a lot of wooden planks? Yes, there are at least 10,000 pieces of wood planks waiting to be transported over. We lack transportation tools. It takes too much time to transport them over and over again. 10,000 pieces. Chen Yu was a little speechless for a moment. He even thought that Fang Heng was bragging. It had only been a little while since the game started. They wouldn't be able to get so much even if they rubbed wooden planks day and night, right? Then why don't I report this to the higher-ups later and ask the commander for his opinion? As Fang Heng was speaking to Chen Yu, a group of Federation players walked out from the warehouse. The members of the party were all fully armed. They each took out 4 modified motorcycles from their backpacks and placed them on the road. The 2 players immediately stepped onto the 4-wheeled truck installed at the back of the modified motorcycles and sat down steadily. Wasn't this considered overloading? A Federation player walked up to Chen Yu and saluted him. Captain Chen. The team has assembled. Please give us instructions. All right, let's take a break. We'll set off in 10 minutes. Yes. Fang Heng was a little curious. He looked at them a few more times and asked, where are you guys planning to go? Is there a new situation in Hope Town? Not really. I just heard that something happened in the forest area. The captain received an emergency order last night. He asked me to bring a team over to check out the situation. Forest area. Fang Heng's eyelids twitched when he heard that. He thought with alarm, oh my god. It can't be that they're referring to me. What is it? Is it a secret? Fang Heng asked Chen Yu. Chen Yu shook his head and asked, have you heard of the Dawn Guild? Dawn. Fang Heng's uneasiness grew stronger. Yes, those people often rob ordinary players in the game. I personally hate them, but what they do does not violate the law, and the Federation cannot punish them. Fang Heng nodded. What happened to them? Yesterday, their team was wiped out in the game. As he spoke, Chen Yu's expression became serious. Last night, we received news that Dawn's 40-man team was wiped out, and their shelter was demolished. According to them, someone has already occupied prison number 507 in the forest area. Fang Heng was silent. We conducted an internal evaluation. Under normal circumstances, players at this stage of the game are unable to clear and occupy prison number 507. In addition, the prison side has the ability to wipe out the Dawn Guild. Chen Yu rubbed his chin and lowered his head to analyze seriously. Also, according to Dawn's explanation, the prison side also has a high-level sniper rifle. Moreover, there's a relatively special mission involved in the prison. The Federation is more concerned about this. In short, the higher-ups of the Federation are worried that the people occupying the prison are members of an extremely dangerous anti-Federation organization. This morning, the leader asked me to go over and investigate the situation there. This mission isn't simple. Fang Heng silently reached out his hand and placed it on Chen Yu's shoulder. Hey, Chen Yu. Chen Yu, who was deep in thought, raised his head. Eh? What? Fang Heng took a deep breath. I confess. I did it. Chen Yu looked at him with a puzzled expression. The prison is mine. Chen Yu. Phoenix Sound Gaming Company. In the office, Li Ru rested her chin on one hand as she read through the emails she had received recently. Suddenly, Li Ru let out a sneer. Tisk, wishful thinking. What's so funny? Zombie Apocalypse Team 12, applying for an S-level talent enhancement plan. The middle-aged man sitting in the opposite chair frowned. He was the team leader of Zombie Apocalypse Team 7, Daija. Team 12. The new team that was established not long ago. Yes, that's the one. The leader is Fang Heng. Hearing Fang Heng's name, Daija's heart skipped a beat. It was him. The ruthless man who had completed the Federation's mission not long ago. You approved it. They applied through normal channels. I have no reason to reject it. Li Ru turned to look at Daija. Are you afraid? No, I'm just a little uneasy. In the past half a year, I've provided so many resources to Team 7 in the game, both openly and secretly, and they are ahead of the others by half a year in terms of performance. If you still can't get the S-level enhancement plan this time, you can resign and leave. That's right. I'm already ahead of them by so much. Daija calmed his mind. I got it. I've completed another big deal in the past 2 days. When the time comes, I'll be able to gather a total of 20,000 performance points. We have to obtain the enhancement plan this time. Yes, we have to ensure that nothing goes wrong. On the flat road, Fang Heng drove the military truck back to the prison. Behind him, the Federation's 5 motorcycles were accompanying him. At this moment, there were 8 fully armed Federation players sitting at the place where the truck was originally loaded. Fang Heng sat in the driver's seat and glanced sideways at Chen Yu. Originally, Fang Heng wasn't willing to bring so many Federation players back to the prison for a tour. However, Chen Yu said that the Federation was willing to provide him with mission information regarding the S-level talent enhancement plan. The condition was to go to the prison to take a look and confirm that no dangerous anti-Federation hostile forces were invading. What was the difference between this and getting a free lunch? Fang Heng immediately agreed. In the passenger seat, Chen Yu had been communicating through the survival radio. After a long while, he put away the survival radio with a serious expression, as if he had received a big mission. What did they say? The higher-ups agreed to our cooperation plan after discussing it. Fang Heng's eyes lit up. We will provide you with a game mission that will reward you with an S-level talent enhancement plan. We will also try our best to provide you with assistance during the mission. But there are 2 conditions. Fang Heng suppressed the excitement in his heart and asked in a deep voice, what conditions? Chen Yu was very sincere. Firstly, we want to stay in the prison for a few days to ensure that the prison is not invaded by some anti-Federation forces with ulterior motives. We understand that you are disgusted by this request, but it is very important to us. I hope you can understand. Sure, let them have a tour of the prison. Fang Heng thought. There was nothing that needed to be kept secret in the prison anyway. It was normal for them to just casually pass by a few vine zombies, right? It wouldn't be a problem for them to pile up some logs in the prison square. It was common for them to grow flowers and plants in the basement to improve the environment, right? Fang Heng thought for a moment and agreed to the suggestion. No problem. What about the second condition? The second condition is related to the mission of the S-level talent enhancement plan. After the mission is completed, our Federation would like to retrieve the samples of high-level mutated zombies from the mission. Eh? Only corpses? Yes, we only want corpses. Everything else, including the mission reward, is in your control. That's not a problem. Deal. Fang Heng admitted that even if he wanted corpses, they would be useless. Now, can we talk about the details? All right, Fang Heng. Chen Yu took out a notebook from his backpack and explained seriously. First of all, the King of Gods Zombie Apocalypse game is divided into multiple servers. Every server world is randomly generated. For example, we have met Alex before. In our server, he appeared in the underground secret research room of Hope Town's hospital. But in District 6, there is no Hope Town on the world map at all. The secret research room and Alex will appear in another place. Yes, I understand that. However, there are a few that will appear on a fixed basis, just like prison number 507, which is where you are currently based in. Prison number 507 exists on other servers as well. However, its location will appear randomly. It might appear in a small town, or at the beach. Within this server, it appeared at the periphery of the forest region, and it is currently occupied by you. What I want to say is that in the previous servers, the process of triggering a mission was the same. From the information that our Federation obtained, the final mission reward is an S-level talent enhancement plan. Fang Heng was stunned. He had a keen perception of something. You can't be trying to tell me that the information about the S-level talent enhancement mission provided by the Federation is from prison number 507. It turned out that after searching for a long time, the final S-level talent enhancement plan was in his own prison. F***CK. He had been bought by the Federation for nothing. Chen Yu noticed Fang Heng's expression. His skin was thin, and he scratched his head in embarrassment. His voice had become much softer. Captain is right. As expected, I can't hide it from you. He was careless. Who would have thought that Chen Yu, this seemingly simple and honest single, would be able to lie to others? Fang Heng felt that he had been deceived. Previously, he had already felt that something was amiss. The fact that the Federation was willing to provide an S-level talent enhancement plan to an outsider was not reasonable in itself. Unless the mission itself had already been triggered by him. Fang Heng, the process of this mission is very difficult. Conservatively speaking, it will take at least 1 to 2 months to complete it. During this period of time, our Federation will also fully cooperate with you to complete the mission. They still wanted to stay in prison for 1 to 2 months. Fang Heng admitted that he couldn't wait that long. He had to complete the mission within 5 days and obtain the S-level talent enhancement plan. After calming down and thinking about it, at least now he had the goal of obtaining the S-level talent enhancement plan, as well as the support of Chen Yu and the other tollmen. Their understanding of the prison mission was much clearer. It was not a loss. After a brief calculation, Fang Heng said, "All right, tell me about the mission flow of prison number 507. According to what we know, prison number 507 is one of the testing grounds of the Meteorite Company. The prison director once used prisoners to carry out unstable T-virus mutation experiments. The difficulty of the mission is the highest level, the SSS level. There are a large number of Tier 1 mutated zombies and a small number of Tier 2 mutated zombies in the prison. The most troublesome one is the giant zombie, Erida. It's an enhanced T-virus variant that has higher intelligence compared to ordinary zombies. However, it's still under the control of the bloodlust. In terms of strength, it's a Tier 4 mutated zombie. Due to some special reasons, we need to obtain Erida's corpse and obtain a part of the sample from the corpse. It was another Tier 4 mutated zombie. Hearing Chen Yu's words, Fang Heng couldn't help but feel a headache. Last time, relying on the vine zombie's fear of fire, they dug a hole to forcefully finish it off. What should they do this time? Continue digging a hole in the prison? It wasn't easy. Fang Heng thought for a while and asked, "Does your Federation have a battle plan?" No. Chen Yu shook his head repeatedly, his answer clear. The battle plan you used against Alex in Hope Town has proven that you have an outstanding command ability. According to the higher-ups, unless there's an emergency, under normal circumstances, we will listen to your orders. It sounded like flattery. However, Chen Yu had the self-awareness of a tollman. Fang Heng rubbed his chin and started thinking about how to deal with a Tier 4 mutated zombie. In the afternoon, the prison's door opened. The truck struggled to bypass the layers of logs in the prison square and finally stopped in front of building number 3. After opening the door, Chen Yu jumped out of the truck. He had already seen the mountain of logs in the prison. There was nothing he could do. The entire prison square was filled with logs. It was hard not to see them. Chen Yu even saw a few players carrying logs to the prison square. No way. Must it be so exaggerated? Chen Yu muttered to himself and turned around silently. He looked at Fang Heng in the driver's seat with a strange expression. Was this prison number 507? Why did he feel like he was in a large logging base? He thought, also, didn't you say that it was difficult to obtain wood resources? Why do I feel that your logs are just like free wood? How on earth did you do it? Lu Wei, who had worked hard for an entire day and had moved logs for an entire day, similarly looked at Fang Heng and the Federation players with a puzzled gaze. What was the situation with leader Fang Heng? Why were there so many people from the Federation all of a sudden? Could it be that they were also here to help pick up logs? It's all right, brother. These are all friends from the Federation who are here to help. You guys can continue with your work. I'll give all of you a day off tomorrow and rest for a day. We'll continue the day after tomorrow. Fang Heng called out to Lu Wei. As he spoke, he extended his hand and patted Qinyu on the shoulder, bringing him to a corner at the side. Only then did Qinyu realize that there was actually a huge pile of wooden planks in the corner of the prison. The number was around 7,000 to 8,000. If it was in the past, Qinyu would have been shocked by the number of wooden planks. But now, he felt that it was within reason. After all, the entire prison square was filled with logs. It would be abnormal if there were no wooden planks. I'm not lying to you, right? All the wooden planks that we made are here. The wooden planks are too heavy, and it's too troublesome to transport them. If it's convenient, it's best if your federation sends someone to collect them personally. At most, it'll cost a little less. What do you think? Qinyu scratched his head. All right, I'll contact my superior. Ha ha ha, then I'll leave this matter to you. Come, I'll show you around the prison. Fang Heng led Qinyu's team to take a detailed tour of the prison's building number 3. Including Qinyu, the entire team was shocked. A single room, 3 luxurious meals and a food buffet. NPCs were responsible for cleaning the building all day long, and there was even electricity supply every night. What kind of treatment was this? Even for the powerful Federation, they were still struggling to maintain their daily food and clothing. They were often faced with a shortage of resources and needed to personally go out to collect food. Like his other teammates, Qinyu was extremely shocked. Looking at the prison as a whole, the only thing that was lacking was its defense. Qinyu noticed it when he arrived. In comparison, the prison's defense was not strong. There was only one NPC guarding the prison's sentry tower. If it was the Federation, they would definitely send a small team to guard the sentry tower 24 hours a day and lay a circle of wooden traps around the perimeter. After all, the other party was only a player with the support of the company. To be able to do this was already very impressive. Qinyu secretly calculated in his heart. He decided that after he returned, he must seriously report this matter to his superiors. He must properly rope in Phoenix Sound Gaming Company and Fang Heng. After going around in circles, Fang Heng brought everyone back to the basement. Qinyu was alerted when he saw a "Do Not Enter" sign on a reinforced wooden door. Fang Heng, what's in this room? Oh, it's a warehouse I opened for storage. Can we go in and take a look? But, I suggest you take a look at the door. Don't get too close. As Fang Heng spoke, he pushed open the shelter's wooden door. Qinyu was confused. He stood at the door and looked into the room. The room was very spacious. He immediately saw the potted plants in the corner. This. Qinyu's face turned pale. He turned his head and looked at Fang Heng in shock. What is this? I'm sorry. It's a hobby. I like to plant flowers and plants when I have nothing to do to cultivate my character. This was called flowers and plants. This was clearly a corpse vine. Qinyu had seen Alex's mission report before, so of course, he knew what a corpse vine was. Alex was a monster created by the corpse vine. Fang Heng actually used some unknown method to move the corpse vine from the meteorite's secret laboratory to this place. Was he crazy? He hid such a dangerous thing under the base. What was he trying to do? If he wasn't careful and something happened to the corpse vine. Haha, I'm just joking with you. I'm just doing some research. Fang Heng noticed Qinyu's expression and put away his joking attitude. I received a mission related to the corpse vine. Because the corpse vine is extremely dangerous, I kept them here for research. Normally, no one would come in here. I see. Qinyu was scared half to death. Good lord, who would plant the corpse vines in the basement to cultivate one's character? After walking around the prison, Qinyu did not find any signs of anti-Federation forces. The only thing that made him feel a little strange was the corpse vines planted in the basement. It made sense if they were used for research. As for whether there were any hidden anti-Federation forces infiltrating the prison, he still needed to observe for a few more days. Apart from the internal investigation of the prison, the Federation would also conduct a thorough investigation of the other party outside of the game, including background checks, financial transactions, interpersonal relationships, and so on. After years of training by the Federation, if there really were anti-Federation forces lurking inside the prison, Qinyu believed that he would not be able to hide it from the Federation's eyes. In the end, a few of them came to the 3 iron gates at the end of the underground passage. Chen Yu explained to Fang Heng, the information the Federation has collected is not much. We only know that beyond these 3 iron gates is the second basement of the prison. The giant zombie Erita is locked inside. The magnetic card to open the other 2 iron gates can be found inside prison number 1 and prison number 2 respectively. Chen Yu took 2 steps back as he spoke, pointing at the iron gate at the fork of the passage. This passage leads to the basement of prison number 2. You should have the magnetic card to open the gate. Be careful, there are a large number of Tier 1 mutated spider zombies and poisonous zombies inside prison number 2. They are very difficult to deal with. After cleaning up prison number 2, you can find the key and the magnetic card to the gate of prison number 1. As for the situation inside prison number 1, we have no other information yet. Fang Heng listened carefully to Chen Yu's words and nodded solemnly. The estimated number of zombies in prison number 2 is between 3,000 to 5,000, and the number of Tier 1 mutated zombies is over 10%. Based on the efficiency of our federal team alone, we estimate that it will take at least 10 to 15 days to clean up all the zombies. If there are any accidents during this period, it might be a little slower. Fang Heng looked at the passage on the right that led to prison number 2, deep in thought. 3,000 to 5,000 low-level zombies. Great. Another large sum of points could be added to his account. With this amount of points, the remaining zombies could basically complete the transformation into vine zombies. After all, the final reward for this mission is the S-level talent enhancement plan. The process won't be that simple. Although it's very difficult, we can still complete the mission slowly. Chen Yu looked at Fang Heng, who was deep in thought, and patted his shoulder to show his encouragement. Take your time. The Federation will provide you with support and help you clean up the zombies. Fang Heng raised his head and said, "All right, thank you." Third stage mission, exploring the second basement of the prison. Mission name, exploring the second basement of the prison. Mission description, you have discovered an unknown area that is not marked on the map in the basement of the prison. It leads to the second basement. Please try to enter the second basement without damaging the main building of the prison. Mission reward, survival points. In the evening, Fang Heng deliberately brought Chen Yu and the others to drink with Liao Bufan. Chen Yu was usually very simple and honest, but he was even more forthright when he drank. After a round of heavy drinking, Chen Yu and the others could not hold on any longer. They took a hot bath and then went offline to rest. Taking advantage of the fact that no one was paying attention, Fang Heng returned to the basement alone. Behind him, 50 zombie clones blocked the narrow passage. It would take at least 10 days to clean up prison number 2. Are you kidding me? That's too long. Fang Heng believed that he didn't have that much time to waste. He walked to the iron gate leading to prison number 2 and took out a magnetic card. Beep, beep, beep. Verification successful. Ka, ka, ka. The iron gate rose again. Fang Heng raised his flashlight and scanned the inside of the passage of prison number 2. He went in to check the situation. Fang Heng strode forward. The inside of the passage was very dark. Relying on the light of the flashlight, Fang Heng carefully walked into the passage with a shotgun in one hand. Soon, he passed a corner of the underground passage and heard faint footsteps in front of him. The zombies that were lingering in prison number 2 smelled the scent of humans. They walked unsteadily from the front of the passage. There was a dense group of about a dozen of them. Trouble was coming. It was the poisonous zombie. Fang Heng narrowed his eyes. He immediately recognized the poisonous zombie that was mixed among the ordinary zombies. Tier 1 mutated zombie, poisonous zombie. The poisonous zombie was very famous among the players. Its attributes were average, but its HP was higher than ordinary zombies. However, it had an air sac filled with viruses inside its body. Once the poisonous zombie died, the air sac inside its body would explode, and the surrounding area would be filled with poisonous gas. Fang Heng took half a step back. Behind him, 5 vine zombies held wooden spears and staggered forward. They stood side by side and blocked the narrow passage. When the zombies got closer, the clones raised their wooden spears and attacked. Crack! The spears pierced into the rotten flesh of the zombie. The poisonous zombie mixed with the ordinary zombies was attacked, so it waved its arms and counterattacked. Such a normal attack dealt almost zero damage to the vine zombies. On the other hand, when the vine zombies were attacked, vines of all sizes shot out from their bodies. The vines quickly wrapped around the poisonous zombie, trapping it on the spot. In just a moment, the poisonous zombie was stabbed into sieves by the zombie clones and fell to the ground. Boom. After the poisonous zombie died, the gas bag in its body exploded. The air was immediately covered by a layer of pale purple mist. Seeing the poisonous mist, Fang Heng took a few steps back, frowning. This kind of poisonous gas was very scary. Once a human inhaled it, they would enter a mild, poisoning state. If they didn't leave in time and inhaled more poisonous gas, the poisoning state would quickly turn into infection. In the early stage, players couldn't make effective anti-infection potions. Infection was equivalent to death. The most troublesome thing was that the poisonous gas left behind by the poisonous zombies after death would take 3 to 5 hours to slowly dissipate. To ordinary players, the poisonous zombies were not strong, but they were extremely disgusting. Chen Yu was not wrong. With such disgusting zombies, it would indeed take them 10 days to half a month to slowly clean them up. Fang Heng didn't dare to go near them. However, he was different from ordinary players. He had his zombie clones. To zombies, the poisonous gas was useless. The zombie clones stood in the poisonous gas and were unharmed. The safety level of killing monsters has been verified. Fang Heng muttered to himself. It seemed that it wouldn't be a problem to use the vine zombie clones to clean up the entire prison number 2. Just as he was about to leave, Fang Heng stopped again. From the tunnel in front of him came a few more sounds of friction against the wall. Fang Heng immediately raised his flashlight and shone it at the wall. 2 or 3 black shadows quickly climbed along the wall. Spider zombies. They were old friends. Fang Heng took 2 steps back and hid behind 2 zombie clones, then raised his shotgun. The spider zombies pressed against the wall to attack. They wanted to attack Fang Heng but were blocked by the vine zombies at the intersection. Helplessly, the 2 spider zombies at the front flew up and attacked the vine zombies with their sharp claws. Chi. The spider zombies' sharp claws cut 2 long and thin wounds on the vine zombies. Chi. 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 In the blink of an eye, several vines shot out from the wounds on the zombie's body. The vines went straight for the spider zombie. The spider zombie only hesitated for a moment before its arm was entangled. It couldn't break free for a moment. In the next second, more and more vines rushed toward it. The vines wrapped the spider zombie tightly, trapping it on the spot. Then, the remaining zombie clones in the tunnel rushed forward. They raised their wooden spears. Chi. 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 Soon, the spider zombies covered in vines were stabbed into sieves by the zombie clones. Seeing that, Fang Heng put down the shotgun in his hand. Who? Impressive. Fang Heng now had a new understanding of the combat ability of the vine zombie clones. Once the number of vine zombies reached a certain level, these Tier 1 mutated zombies wouldn't be able to threaten them at all. With the vine zombies under him, it wouldn't be a problem to clear out the entire prison number 2. With a wave of his hand, he controlled the remaining 30 zombies behind him to swarm into the tunnel. Fang Heng turned around and left the passage of prison number 2. He used the magnetic card again to close the iron gate. After returning to the shelter in the basement, Fang Heng lit a bonfire. He opened the game log and rows of notifications popped up. Hint: your zombie clone has killed an ordinary zombie. You have received 3 survival points. You have received skill basic strength training experience points +1. Hint: your zombie clone has killed an ordinary zombie. You have gained 2 survival points. You have gained skill basic strength training experience points +1. Hint: your zombie clone has killed a Tier 1 mutated zombie poisonous zombie. You have gained 6 survival points. You have gained skill basic strength training experience points +1. Hint: your zombie clone has killed. It should be enough to hack for one night. I'll clean up prison number 2 first. I'll think of a way to deal with prison number 1 tomorrow. The target is to complete the mission within 3 days. After 4 days, I'll obtain 3 S-level talent enhancement plans. Fang Heng left a simple bed on the ground. He went offline and went to sleep. Fang Heng drank a little last night, and he slept late. He slept until 10 o'clock. Fang Heng couldn't be bothered to go to the gaming company, so he logged into the game cabin in the villa. After entering the game, Fang Heng opened the game log to observe. Hint: during the time you are offline, your zombie group has completed the mission of clearing prison block number 2. Your zombie group is on standby. Hint: during the period when you are offline, your zombie group has killed ordinary zombies *3512, spider zombies *233, poisonous zombies *566, obtained 11,992 survival points, evolution crystal fragment *677, complete evolution crystal *199. Hint: you have acquired skill strength in the body experience points plus 5,432, you have acquired skill physique basic training experience points plus 67,811, you have acquired skill strength basic training experience points plus 81,271, you have acquired skill agility basic training experience points plus 22,419. Hint: your physique basic training has been upgraded to level 10, your strength basic training has been upgraded to level 10, your agility basic training has been upgraded to level 10 and your strength in the body skill has been upgraded to level 10. Hint: your skill has reached the upper limit of your current character's level. You are unable to continue acquiring experience points. Please upgrade your character's level as soon as possible. 12,000 survival points, and 4 more zombie clones. Unfortunately, the points are still not enough. Fang Heng muttered softly. He put away the bonfire and the makeshift bed and returned to the passage. Verified. Opening the iron gate between prison number 2 and prison number 3, the vine zombies returned to the underground shelter one by one. Whenever they passed by Fang Heng, they would throw the materials that dropped after killing the monsters in front of him. Fang Heng began to check the gains from last night's hack. Hint: you have obtained scrap *21, rags *77, broken wrench, damaged engine parts, scrap metal *33. Fang Heng threw the items that the zombies collected into his backpack and focused on reading the skill book. Recipe: fragrant fried potato cake. Recipe: home-cooked braised pork ribs. Recipe: home-cooked eggplant. Hee, it's still a recipe, home-cooked stir-fried meat. Looks like today is a home-cooked series. As Fang Heng was speaking, his eyes suddenly lit up. Hint: you have obtained blueprint small sentry tower. Finally obtained something good. Blueprint, small sentry tower. Description: after use, you can control the construction of the sentry tower. Sentry tower's attributes: the small sentry tower can accommodate up to 5 people at the same time. Players, including NPC mercenaries, in the sentry tower can have an additional 1,500 field of vision and an additional 30% long-range weapon attack hit rate, an additional 50% long-range weapon attack critical rate, an additional 10% long-range weapon attack speed and an additional 20% long-range weapon effective attack range. Blueprint learning condition, basic construction, level 10. Sentry towers were a good thing. In reality, in the game, even if players did not have blueprints, they could simulate the construction of sentry towers and attack zombies from a high position. However, players could not enjoy the additional attributes of the completed building. Moreover, the completed building was very fragile, and could not be considered as a whole by the King of Gods. Its durability was lower and it was easier to be destroyed by zombies. Prison number 507 already had 2 middle-grade sentry towers. When he had some free time in the next few days, he would build a circle of sentry towers around the prison and recruit more elite Dark Knight NPCs to greatly increase the prison's defense. When that time came, he would not be afraid even if there were more than 10 blood moons. Fang Heng thought happily as he patted the skill book he had collected on his head. Hint: you have learned the recipe fragrant fried potato cake, braised pork ribs, eggplant, stir-fried pork. Your cooking skill plus 13. Hint: you have learned the construction of a small sentry tower. After counting the rewards, Fang Heng gave the order to search prison number 2 to the zombie clones. Then, he personally led 10 zombie clones into prison number 2 to explore. Prison number 2 had been massacred by the zombies once. However, because the zombies lacked intelligence, they wouldn't force their way into locked rooms. Fang Heng didn't have time to search carefully, so he went straight to the management room on the first floor. He had heard Chinyu mention that the magnetic card for prison number 2 could be found in the management room on the first floor of the prison. He followed the underground passage to the first floor, then walked along the corridor and passed by the prison area. Soon, he found the locked management room. Fang Heng waved his hand. Several zombie clones behind him raised their small iron hammers and knocked on the door lock. Bang. After a few rounds of knocking, the door lock was broken. Fang Heng pushed open the iron gate. The zombies in the room slowly turned around and faced Fang Heng. Before they were ready to attack, the zombie clones had already pounced on them and stabbed them with wooden spears. After confirming that there was no danger, Fang Heng entered the room to investigate. The management room was in a mess. The monitoring platform had lost its function due to the power failure. The screen was pitch black. Fang Heng immediately saw a blood-stained book beside the table. Hint: you have obtained the prison management duty log. Fang Heng opened the duty log and read. 2.1. Nothing happened. 2.2. Nothing happened. 2.3. Nothing happened. 2.13. There was an accident in the second basement of prison number 2. The magnetic card had failed and had been reported for repair. Please note that the magnetic card with the highest authority is stored in the safe of the gun room on the second floor of prison number 1. It can be used in emergencies. The small password of the safe is 2391. 2.14. Nothing happened. 2.15. Nothing happened. Fang Heng closed the book and frowned slightly. Strange. The magnetic card was stored in the gun room on the second floor of prison number 1. Could the highest authority magnetic card open all the door locks directly? Why was it different from what Chen Yu said before? There was probably a mistake with his mission information. Fang Heng thought as he picked up the keychain hanging on the wall of the management room. Chen Yu was full of energy. He and his team had never had such a comfortable life in the Apocalypse game. Last night, they had their first full meal in the game, and drank several bottles of cold beer along the way. They even took a hot shower before going to bed. What made Chen Yu even happier was that he did not find any signs of anti-Federation infiltration in the prison. The news that came from the Federation today also proved Fang Heng's innocence. The Federation confirmed that Fang Heng had completely cut off contact with his dangerous ex-girlfriend for more than a year. The only thing that made Chen Yu slightly wary was the logs piled up in the square. Fang Heng seemed to have an efficient way of gathering wood. It could be a talent skill. Chen Yu felt that these were not within his scope of investigation. Many people did not want to expose their talent skills in the game. Chen Yu understood this very well. Moreover, he felt that with the help of Fang Heng's large number of materials, the Federation could build a larger shelter and protect more people. Chen Yu felt that this was a great thing. After spending a day in prison for nothing, Chen Yu felt a little embarrassed. He was already prepared to do his best to help Fang Heng complete the prison mission and help him obtain an S-level talent enhancement plan as soon as possible. However, the strange thing was that he couldn't find Fang Heng even after walking around the prison. Hint: your survival radio has received an emergency message. Chen Yu turned on the survival radio. Fang Heng, bring the team to prison number 1 in 10 minutes. I'll be waiting for you. Chen Yu, roger that. Chen Yu scratched his head. Prison number 1. Strange, why isn't it prison no. 2. After receiving the news from Fang Heng, Chen Yu gathered his team and waited for orders in front of prison number 1. Not long after, Fang Heng came over with a key. Did you get used to staying here last night? Of course, the environment here is much better than the Federation warehouse resource point. If he had a choice, Chen Yu hoped that he could stay here forever. Fang Heng, why did you arrange to meet here? Are you planning to attack prison number 1 first? You guessed right. Chen Yu felt strange. Normally, shouldn't they start with a simple plan? They had agreed that Fang Heng would be in charge of the prison operation, so Chen Yu didn't ask any questions. He just waved his hand, indicating for the federal team to cooperate. From the information we got, there are Tier 2 mutated zombies in prison number 1. It's very difficult to deal with them. We need to be fully prepared. Okay. This time, we'll go in and explore, and check out the type and number of Tier 2 mutated zombies inside. Okay. Fang Heng took out the key and walked to the gate that was tightly bound by the iron chain. Click. Using the key to open the iron lock on the chain, Fang Heng used all his strength to pull off the chain. The federal team stood behind Fang Heng separately and gathered together in a vigilant posture. Bang! The heavy iron chain was removed and thrown to the ground. Fang Heng pulled out his machete and carefully pushed open the gate of prison number 1. The inside of the prison building was completely silent. It was a chaotic scene. All kinds of tables were overturned on the ground and paper was scattered all over the ground. Dried blood stains could be seen everywhere. It was certain that there had been riots here before. Strangely, the entire prison building was extremely quiet. Fang Heng turned his head and looked at Chen Yu. Is there something wrong? Yes. Chen Yu also felt that something was wrong, so he explained in a low voice. I'm not too sure about the specifics either. Prison number 507's mission was obtained by the Federation from other sources. We know the least about this part of the mission in prison number 1. We only know that we can find a magnetic card here that corresponds to the electronic lock that can open the underground passage. There's a serious lack of information about this part of the mission process. There's also the possibility of errors in the before and after mission lines. The intelligence department believes that these differences may be caused by subtle changes between the various servers. Fang Heng nodded to show that he understood. Let's go in and take a look. Chen Yu became more and more alert. He gestured to his team members behind him. The 20-man federal team covered each other as they entered the prison together. Soon, they arrived at a fork in the hallway. One led to the prison area, and the other led to the isolation infirmary in the management area. Chen Yu looked at Fang Heng and asked, "Are we going to the infirmary first?" "No, we're going to the second floor first." "The second floor?" "Yes, I received news that there's a safe in the firearms room on the second floor. The magnetic card is stored in the safe." "All right, then let's go to the second floor to investigate first." Chen Yu raised his eyebrows. He was a little curious as to where Fang Heng got the news from. Now was not the time to discuss this issue. He waved his hand and the federal team began to move. They began to explore the stairs on the right side one after another. The team carefully went up to the corridor on the second floor and slowly moved forward along the corridor leading to the management area on the second floor. Fang Heng and Chen Yu were at the front of the team. They didn't encounter any zombies along the way. Chen Yu said in a low voice, "It's so quiet all the way. There must be something strange." "Yeah." Fang Heng had the same thought. While they were exploring, Fang Heng suddenly felt goosebumps all over his body. He suddenly felt a sense of danger approaching. The sense of danger came from the right. Fang Heng suddenly turned his head around. On the right was a glass window of a meeting room. The shutters were tightly shut, so he could not see what was inside the room. Chi. Chi chi. Fang Heng's sharp senses could hear something rapidly moving against the wall. The sound was also coming from behind the glass window. And it was getting closer. "Be careful." Chen Yu was stunned. Bang. The glass window exploded with a bang. A red shadow dashed out from the broken window and pounced on Chen Yu. Sharp white claws were sticking out. Fang Heng shouted, "Get down." Chen Yu's reaction speed was extremely fast. Out of Fang Heng's trust, the moment he heard Fang Heng's shout, he immediately took the safest position to protect himself. He turned his body sideways and rolled on the ground. Fang Heng, who was standing behind Chen Yu, raised his shotgun. The muzzle of the shotgun was aimed at the approaching dark red creature. Bang. Fang Heng pulled the trigger. The shotgun hit the target accurately. The red creature flew backwards. "It's the licker." Someone immediately cried out in alarm. The licker. It was the most difficult creature to deal with among the Tier 2 zombies. Fang Heng's pupils constricted. His mind was immediately flooded with memories about the licker. The licker was different from ordinary zombies. It was an unstable experimental product created by injecting the T-virus directly into a living body. It was specially cultivated and manufactured by Meteorite Company. During the cultivation stage, Meteorite Company researchers would directly feed it with live DNA. After the living test subject absorbed enough nutrients, the T-virus continued to manifest, causing the test subject's skin to fall off and the muscle tissue to grow abnormally. After the skin fell off, the subject gradually lost the function and purpose of the human hand, and the forelimbs mutated into claws. Due to the change in shape, Meteorite Company named it the licker. They are better at hunting than humans. Lickers are good at moving and hunting in places such as ceilings, walls, and so on. Their weakness is their head and exposed heart. Most lickers were in a crouching position, which made it easier to protect the heart. Heart. Brain. Fang Heng's gaze focused on the two fatal points of the licker. The licker was hit by a shotgun at close range, and the huge sound wave and impact sent the licker back into a short-term stunned state. The licker revealed its heart in the reclining state. Fang Heng pulled out his machete. Ever since the end of his trip to Hope Town, after a period of hacking, Fang Heng's A-level skill, Strengthen the Body, had been upgraded to level 10. Level 10 skills increased Fang Heng's basic strength and physique attributes by an additional 7 points. He had also finished the gene enhancer that Qiu Yaokong had given him. All 3 of his basic attributes had been increased to a maximum of 5 points. With the addition of his basic strength training, Fang Heng's strength had now reached 19 points. It was almost 4 times the strength of an ordinary player. Grabbing the licker's stiff back, Fang Heng took a quick step forward, brandished his machete and slashed forward with all his strength. Chi. The machete slashed downwards from top to bottom and left a huge gash on the licker's body. The slash directly cut the exposed heart in half. Plop. The licker fell to the ground. It struggled on the ground for a moment, and its body gradually became stiff. Its limbs showed strange distortions, and it curled up into a ball. Hint: you have killed a Tier 2 mutated zombie, the licker. You have obtained a complete evolution crystal. You have obtained 20 survival points. This is troublesome. I didn't expect it to be a licker. Fang Heng thought to himself. He finally understood. No wonder there were no ordinary zombies here. Lickers would eat ordinary zombies when they were hungry to obtain nutrients. Fang Heng turned his head and looked at Chen Yu, who had just stood up. Chen Yu was still scared, so he nodded at Fang Heng. The two of them tacitly did not speak. For some reason, after the lickers had completed their evolution, their visual nerves had completely degenerated and lost their function. However, correspondingly, the lickers' tactile and auditory nerves far surpassed that of ordinary animals. They were extremely sensitive to sound. The gunshot just now should have attracted many lickers over. They couldn't stay here for long, they had to evacuate as soon as possible. Chen Yu pointed at the entrance that led to the prison area not far away, then quickly made a few gestures to the team members. He signaled the team to try not to make a sound, then quickly retreat. Survival was more important, quickly retreat. Fang Heng also didn't dare to stay any longer. Dealing with one licker was already scary enough. If 2 or 3 lickers were to appear at the same time, their entire team would probably have to die here. The team carefully retreated to the first floor. What they were afraid of came true. From upstairs, the sound of friction could be heard rapidly approaching. Fang Heng's passive perception once again gave him a premonition of extreme danger. Quick! Run! Fang Heng shouted. He was sure that a large number of lickers upstairs had caught up to him. There was no point in continuing to remain silent. When the team members heard Fang Heng's shout, they immediately sprinted along the road they had come from. Behind them, the sounds of friction coming from the pursuers were getting closer and closer. Fang Heng's agility attribute was twice that of an ordinary player, and his running speed was also slightly faster than the other team members. He was far ahead of the other players and was the first to run to the prison's entrance. He turned his head and looked behind him. Nearly a dozen red lickers were sticking close to the wall and quickly chasing after the Federation players. Fang Heng switched pistols and aimed at the lickers, trying to slow them down. Bang! Bang bang! The lickers were extremely agile. They relied on their high-speed movement to dodge the bullets. Fang Heng finished firing a round of bullets, and 60 to 70% of them missed. Seeing that the last Federation player at the rear was about to be caught up, Chen Yu turned his head and threw a blue flashbang backwards. Buzz. Ear-piercing ringing sounds accompanied by intense flashes of light exploded within the group of lickers. Fang Heng practically lowered his head and closed his eyes. The flashbang model that Chen Yu threw quickly appeared in his mind. GNT 200 flashbang. Manufacturer Meteorite Company. When detonated, it could not only emit a strong light, but also release high-frequency sound waves. The sound waves would affect the licker's hearing for some time. Rich Federation. Just this flashbang alone cost 75 King of Gods points to purchase. Affected by the high-frequency sound waves of the flashbang, the licker stood rooted to the spot. Taking advantage of the licker's inability to move, the federal team quickly left the warehouse. Bang. The door was tightly shut. A few federal team members rushed up and cooperated to once again wrap the door with iron chains. Bang. Bang bang. Bang. The lickers were still unwilling to give up. From within the prison, the continuous sound of the door knocking could be heard. The members of the federal team had cold sweat all over their foreheads. One after another, they raised their pistols and aimed at the door. Fortunately, the prison door was hard enough. After a while, the banging sound finally faded away. Phew. The members of the team let out a sigh of relief. They put down their pistols and relaxed for the time being. Fang Heng still had a frown on his face. He didn't expect the difficulty of this mission to be so high. The Tier 2 mutated zombies were already very difficult to deal with, but the lickers they encountered were the most difficult to deal with. Fang Heng didn't remember to count carefully just now. He roughly estimated that there were at least 10 lickers. Our mission is going to be troublesome. The lickers are too powerful. It's too difficult to deal with them at this stage. Chen Yu panted heavily and walked over to discuss with Fang Heng. Even now, his heart was still pounding furiously. Their movement speed is too fast. Not to mention using a crossbow, even if we use a gun, our accuracy is very low. If we want to complete the mission, we have to think of another way. Okay. Fang Heng leaned against the wall and fell into deep thought. Of course, he understood what Chen Yu was saying. He had just personally experienced using a pistol to attack the licker. Even if he had 15 points of high perception, he could only hit 5 out of 15 bullets. Moreover, the damage dealt by the pistol to the licker wasn't high. A few simple attacks wouldn't be able to deal fatal damage to it. Against the licker, the vine zombie was no match for it. The licker's powerful strength attribute allowed it to directly use the vine zombie's entanglement skill. Fang Heng closed his eyes and quickly recalled the licker's weakness. Chen Yu also felt a headache coming on. The difficulty of this mission was much more difficult than what was recorded in the original information of the Federation. At this stage, it was impossible for a player to deal with so many lickers. It was the same for the Federation. How could he persuade Fang Heng to give up this mission? Chen Yu thought for a moment and persuaded, Fang Heng, why don't we give up? After some time, when our weapons and equipment are ready. Fang Heng suddenly opened his eyes. The licker's visual nerves have deteriorated. They rely on their strong hearing to determine their location. We can think of a way to make use of this. Oh. Chen Yu was stunned again. He thought along with Fang Heng's words and his eyes lit up. I understand. Are you saying that we should try our best not to make any noise and sneak into the gun room on the second floor to get the magnetic card without being discovered by the lickers? Fang Heng waved his hand. Don't even think about it. It's the game's usual routine. The door to the second floor gun room is most likely locked from the inside. If we want to go in, we will have to break the door. The sound of breaking the door will attract the lickers. This is a dead end. Ah. Chen Yu was at a loss for words. He felt that what Fang Heng said made a lot of sense. Unfortunately, the higher-ups only have one flashbang for emergency use. We just used it up. Why don't I go back and request for 2 more from the higher-ups? We can take advantage of the short-term stun caused by the flashbang to buy time and take the magnetic card from the gun room on the second floor. Chen Yu felt that this was the most likely way to complete the mission. He did not expect Fang Heng to decisively reject it once again. No, it will take too long to apply to the Federation. It will take at least 2 to 3 days to go back and forth. Moreover, whether the Federation approves it or not is another matter. The effects of the 2 flashbangs are limited and the risk is too great. Hearing what Fang Heng said, Chen Yu was a little speechless. Even if he knew that there were a large number of lickers in prison number 1, would he still think that 2 to 3 days was too slow? 2 to 3 days. He would be thankful if he could complete the mission. The members of the federal team who were listening to the conversation between the two big shots at the side all had the same thoughts. They could not figure out Fang Heng's train of thought. Fang Heng stroked his chin as if there was no one else around, thinking carefully. He slowly took a few steps back and turned his head to look at the hills of logs in the prison square. A plan gradually formed in Fang Heng's mind. Fang Heng raised his head and asked Qin Yu. The Federation's elite teams are all equipped with pistols, right? Not all of them. Pistols are still very rare in the game at this stage. We only have 12 people equipped with them, and each person only has 15 bullets. That's enough. I have a plan. I'll have to trouble your team to do something for me this afternoon. What? A plan. A plan to get the magnetic card. Fang Heng leaned over and whispered into Chen Yu's ear, "Help me move the logs later." Move the logs. Chen Yu looked at Fang Heng with a baffled expression. What did the plan to kill the lickers and move the logs have in common? He felt that Fang Heng's train of thought was a little too out of the ordinary. Yes, move the logs first. Also, you'll need a little bit of skill when you move them. As Fang Heng spoke, he took out a pen and paper and quickly drew a sketch on the paper in front of Chen Yu. How about this? Try to see if you can arrange the logs into such a shape. Then, use your imagination to think about it. Make sure that these few positions are as empty as possible. Looking at the rough sketch that Fang Heng drew on the paper, Chen Yu was even more confused. Boss, are you building a maze to play in? Chen Yu. Fang Heng patted Chen Yu's shoulder to show his encouragement. I believe in your ability. You can definitely do it. Lickers were the strongest among the Tier 2 mutated zombies. They were the strongest. Their agility attribute was extremely high, their dodging ability was extremely strong, and their physical defense was abnormally tough. The most troublesome thing was that they also liked to appear in groups. Even in the later stages of the game, when players encountered lickers, they would run as fast as they could. If they really couldn't run away, they would use their powerful long-range firepower to suppress them. In order to completely destroy the lickers in prison number 1, Fang Heng felt that the best way was probably to burn the building or directly blow it up. However, if he did that, the magnetic card in the building would be destroyed and the mission would fail. Therefore, he had to change his tactics. Relying on the Federation's tollmen alone wasn't enough. Fang Heng already had a rough plan. While Chen Yu was leading the federal team to move logs on the empty ground of the prison, he drove his truck to the camp of the Dark Knights next to a valley. A wooden hut was built at the foot of the valley. There was a sign hanging outside the wooden hut. Apocalypse Bar. Although it was said to be a camp, it was actually just a wooden hut that had been converted into a bar. Fang Heng walked into the wooden hut. Inside the wooden hut, 2 or 3 NPC survivors were sitting around a table and discussing something in a low voice. When they saw Fang Heng enter, they stopped in unison. Behind the bar stood a tall, scantily dressed young woman. Her exposed tan skin and curvy figure made Fang Heng look at her twice. Fang Heng. You're the newcomer who's been in the limelight recently. Katerina took the initiative to wave at Fang Heng. She poured a glass of wine and pushed it towards Fang Heng. Nice to meet you. I'm the person in charge here, Katerina. This is to celebrate our first meeting. This glass is on me. Thank you. Fang Heng walked to the bar counter. Let me guess, you're here to receive a mission. Katerina moved her face in front of Fang Heng and winked at him. I have a lot of busy missions here. I was ranked bottom for the assessment for the previous 2 months. You should be able to help me, right? Show me your mission. If it's convenient. Katerina waved her hand, and a list of missions appeared in front of Fang Heng. Mission 1, clear the Tier 2 zombies. Difficulty, SS. Reward, Dark Knight's honor points. Mission 2, explore the Meteorite Company's branch in the city. Difficulty, SSS. Reward, Dark Knight's merit points. Mission 3, search for clues related to the Meteorite Company's biological weapons project, which can trigger subsequent missions. Difficulty, SSS. Reward, Dark Knight's merit points. Mission 4, protect important members of the Dark Knights. Difficulty, SSS. Reward, Dark Knight's merit points. Mission 4, Search for dangerous personnel, head of security of meteorite company. Difficulty, SSS. Reward, Dark Knight's merit points. Task 5, analysis of Alex's live samples. Fang Heng looked at the densely packed mission pane and was greatly surprised. The Dark Knight's missions and the Apocalypse Merchant Camp's missions were of two extremes. The lowest difficulty of the Dark Knight's mission was already SS level. No wonder the Dark Knight's entry criterion was so difficult. Fang Heng thought to himself. Katarina's beautiful eyes looked at Fang Heng. How is it? Is there a mission that you're interested in? What a coincidence. I'm going to kill the liquor later. Fang Heng conveniently received the mission to collect the Tier 2 zombie samples and the liquor research mission. Hint, you've accepted the mission, clear the Tier 2 zombies. Hint, you've accepted the mission liquor research. Mission name, clear out the Tier 2 zombies. Difficulty, SS. Mission requirements, clear out at least 100 Tier 2 mutated zombies. Mission time limit, 72 hours. Mission name, liquor research. Difficulty, SSS. Mission requirements, obtain samples of the liquor within the stipulated time limit, able to exceed mission completion. Mission time limit, 72 hours. You have 72 hours to complete the mission, good luck. There's one more thing, my survival camp is in trouble, I need to temporarily recruit a Dark Knight's helper. Of course you can, your current honor level is level 7, you can use honor points to temporarily recruit. In addition, a Dark Knight elite mercenary can provide you with 24-hour help. If they unfortunately die in the process of the mission, you will pay a large amount of compensation. Fang Heng looked at the price list given by Katarina. Temporarily recruiting a Dark Knight elite mercenary for 24 hours requires 300 honor points. If it was equipped with a full set of weapons, it would cost a full 1,000 honor points. Moreover, during the temporary recruitment process, the mercenary's weapons and ammunition consumption would further deplete the player's survival points. The money for the ammunition was also on Fang Heng. What a waste of money. Fang Heng calculated for a moment. He had previously completed the related missions in Hope Town by an additional 41 times, and only then did he obtain 41,000 honor points. I need to recruit 20 fully armed Dark Knights elites. Oh. Looks like you're preparing to do a big deal. I wish you good luck. Katarina was surprised, and then her smile became even brighter. Hint, your friendship with Katarina has increased. Handsome, you have brought me a big deal. I will give you an extra discount for the damage of weapons. When do you want them to gather at your shelter? We need some time to communicate, so we need at least 3 hours to gather. You can also set up other gathering points. If they are too far away, the gathering time will become normal. No need. Tomorrow morning, at 8 o'clock. No problem. They will report to your shelter on time. Chen Yu had no idea what Fang Heng was planning. However, unlike the other Federation players, he had confidence in Fang Heng. Chen Yu would never forget that time he saw a zombie pit in Hope Town. He had never seen such a monster-grinding operation even in a Federation textbook. It only existed in the players' verbal attacks on the forums. Chen Yu brought the federal team back and forth to move logs for an entire afternoon. They finally managed to follow Fang Heng's rough layout before the sun set. After a lot of imagination, they finally managed to come up with such a maze-like layout. It was really too tiring. Even the elite recruits of the Federation who had undergone strict training in school were somewhat unable to endure it. After eating dinner and taking a shower, they quickly went offline to rest. Chen Yu also felt his back ache. He wanted to say hello to Fang Heng before going offline, but strangely, that kid disappeared again. I hope nothing unexpected happens. Chen Yu muttered and quickly went offline as well. He still had to report the mission to his leaders. Not long after Chen Yu and the others went offline, the zombie clones completed their exploration of prison number 2. Materials and more materials were piled up messily in the basement shelter. Hint, your zombie group has completed the exploration of prison number 2. You have found leak cans *27, instant noodles *43, stimulants *3, homemade knives *1, bandages *23, pistol bullets *4669, pistol, Beretta 92 FS, *6, medical alcohol *2. Fang Heng roughly glanced at the mission log. Good stuff. Guns. Bullets. The team currently lacked these. Fang Heng did not have the time to sort out the items collected. He only hurriedly stuffed the pistols and bullets into his backpack. With a wave of his hand, he left the basement with his zombie clones. After leaving the Dark Knight's camp during the day, he first went to the Apocalypse merchant camp to buy a lot of nails and mechanical lubricants. Then, he took a detour back to the abandoned mine and collected the iron nuggets that he had forged during this period of time. When he returned to the prison square and saw the maze that was formed by a large number of logs, Fang Heng chuckled. Chen Yu and the others are reliable. Such a complicated maze building was impossible for the zombie clones to build. Fang Heng looked around. There were still a large number of logs left in the square. He controlled the zombies to walk to another area of the square and began to do the next step. Next, I need to set up a trap. I need to rely on zombies to make it. I need to rebuild the assembly line to speed up the efficiency. Fang Heng cheered up. He divided the zombie clones into 3 assembly lines. One group of zombies made wooden spikes. The other group of zombies started making wooden frames. The last group of zombies made hemp ropes. The next day, Chen Yu and the others finished their daily training outside the game and went online on time as usual. They led the team to the canteen on the first floor of the prison. Chen Yu saw Fang Heng enjoying his breakfast. Fang Heng, we finished building the passage. Chen Yu sat cross-legged across from Fang Heng with his food. I ran into some problems during the actual operation. I couldn't find you yesterday, so I made some changes on my own. I saw it last night. It was perfect. You're amazing. I think you're a genius in architecture. Would you like some chocolate milk? Fang Heng gave Chen Yu a thumbs up in his heart and handed him a packet of chocolate milk. After seeing the building that Chen Yu had constructed, he even had the thought of poaching him. To be able to expand and perfect the maze building that he had casually drawn, Chen Yu had a knack for architecture. He was a talent. Fang Heng winked at Chen Yu. If you don't work for the Federation anymore, you can consider coming to my place. I'll give you double the salary. Ah. Chen Yu was momentarily at a loss for words. He remembered that the mission his commander had given him was to recruit Fang Heng. Why did it seem like it was the other way now? Haha, I'm just joking. Fang Heng took a sip of chocolate milk. I'll make some more arrangements. After we finish eating, we'll start the battle plan. You assemble the federal team and come to the prison square. We'll eliminate that group of lickers in one fell swoop and take back prison number 1. Okay. Chen Yu's expression turned serious. He realized that Fang Heng wasn't joking. Fang Heng was very confident. However, how was he going to kill the zombies with a maze that looked like a joke? Could it be that he was going to trap them in the maze and starve them to death? Chen Yu scratched his head and threw this unrealistic idea out of his mind. He would know when the time came. He still chose to believe in Fang Heng's plan. After dinner, Chen Yu brought the federal team to the prison square. Upon stepping into the prison square, Chen Yu was dumbfounded. Not only was Chen Yu dumbfounded, but the Federation soldiers behind him were also dumbfounded. The prison square was completely different from the time they left last night. What was with all those sentry towers that stood in the square? Heavens! Sentry towers. How did he build so many sentry towers in one night? Chen Yu was extremely shocked. Unlike the initial shelter, when building a building like a sentry tower, players would need to consume vitality points to build it, in addition to preparing sufficient construction materials. Well, maybe materials were not an issue. Based on the prison's stock of materials, perhaps Fang Heng really did not lack them. But what about the construction period? For a building like this, it would take 4 to 5 days for 2 players to complete the construction. How did so many sentry towers appear in just one night? Confused, Chen Yu looked up at the top of the sentry tower. He immediately saw the NPC mercenaries guarding the sentry towers. There were mercenaries. Were they also recruited by Fang Heng? Chen Yu, you're here. Sorry to keep you waiting. Chen Yu swallowed his saliva and turned his head to look at Fang Heng and Liao Bufan, who had jumped down from the pile of logs. Liao Bufan was holding an empty oil barrel in his hand and casually threw it to the side. Fang Heng, did you set up all these sentry towers? As soon as he said this, Chen Yu immediately felt that this question was very stupid. If it wasn't Fang Heng who set them up, could it be that he was the one who created a bug to set them? Yeah, I used a little trick. Fang Heng answered vaguely. The players from the federal team looked at Fang Heng as if they had seen a ghost. Don't mind these details. Let's talk about the plan to deal with the lickers first. Fang Heng was serious. He pointed at the few sentry towers around the maze. To put it simply, I will first think of a way to lure the lickers out of prison number 1. When they enter the sentry tower's attack range, listen to my command and we will destroy them completely. Chen Yu fell into deep thought. He carefully considered the battle plan that Fang Heng had mentioned. There were so many sentry towers. It seemed feasible. But Chen Yu couldn't help but look up at the few sentry towers. How did Fang Heng manage to create so many sentry towers in one night? Since lickers have high agility, it's not easy to hit them. So, wait until all of you enter the inner part of the sentry towers. Fang Heng continued to explain the battle plan to Chen Yu and his team. By relying on the advantage of the sentry towers being high in the air, coupled with the additional long-range attack range and the drop rate of hits from the sentry towers, we should be able to deal with the lickers trapped in the maze. Any other questions? A Federation soldier raised his hand and asked, Mr. Fang Heng. I have a question. Please speak. We don't have enough guns and ammunition. We can't guarantee our output. The prison will provide you with a portion of pistols and ammunition. As Fang Heng spoke, he gave Liao Bufan a look. Liao Bufan was already prepared. He ran to the side and pushed the wooden box in the corner over. Opening the wooden box, there were more than 10 pistols and a box full of pistol bullets. These guns and bullets were all collected from prison number 2 and prison number 3. So many bullets. The members of the federal team were dazzled by this box of bullets. They had once again witnessed the abundance of the prison. The elite team of the Federation had a 60% pistol-equipped rate, but each of them only had 15 bullets. Before coming here, they had thought that such equipment could be considered top-notch in the game. After arriving at the prison, they realized that the bullets here could be used at will. Chen Yu came back to his senses. He looked at the sentry towers, then at the maze which he built yesterday, and finally at the bullets all over the ground. Was this plan feasible? Did he want to use the maze to trap the lickers for a while longer? Then, he could use the advantage of the sentry tower's high position to shoot from above. In theory, it seemed feasible. But Chen Yu had never seen anyone play in such a way in the Apocalypse game. Chen Yu, what do you think of the plan? It's okay. Chen Yu was a little confused by Fang Heng's wild thinking. But, Fang Heng, this maze might be useful for ordinary zombies, but lickers are good at climbing. If they encounter such terrain, they should be able to climb over it directly, right? Fang Heng nodded. That's right. So, I made some special arrangements. You'll find out later. All right. Chen Yu thought for a moment. If Fang Heng had already considered this. Theoretically speaking, there shouldn't be any loopholes in this plan. However, it was still weird. How about we give it a try first? All right, let's give it a try first. Fang Heng was very confident in his plan, but Chen Yu was right. This was the first time they were using this tactic, so they had to give it a try for safety reasons. They had to try to lure a few lickers out first, so that even if something unexpected happened to their plan, they would be able to remedy it in time. According to the plan, Chen Yu and the federal team members were divided into 5 groups and they each climbed up the sentry tower. They took out their pistols and aimed at the exit of prison number 1. A member of the federal team noticed something and pointed at the top of the maze. Captain, look up. Hiss. Chen Yu sucked in a breath of cold air. What the heck? On the top of the log pile, there was a layer of wood and a layer of spike trap was added to the wood. It was obvious that this was Fang Heng's doing. Chen Yu secretly nodded in his heart. A layer of wooden spike trap could indeed prevent the licker from directly jumping over the obstacles from above. However, it was not certain how effective it would be. After all, that was a licker. Fang Heng and Liao Bufan walked to the iron gate of prison number 1 together, and he gestured to Chen Yu who was high up. Chen Yu also gestured with his hand. Raise your spirits and get ready for battle. Yes. Leader. Fang Heng put down his hand and pushed open the iron gate. The next task was to lure the enemies. This task was a little difficult. Fang Heng thought about it for a long time. He realized that the task of luring the lickers could only be done by him. Among all the players, he was the one with the highest agility. In addition to his 15 points of perceptive ability and danger warning ability, he could buy as much time as possible to escape in advance. If it were anyone else who went to lure the licker, they would probably die on the way before they could even lure it out. Opening the door of the passage, Liao Bufan quickly dodged to the side. Fang Heng stood where he was. He glanced at the inner part of the prison and took out a bottle of drink from his pocket. Item: Gatorade 2021 Commemorative Edition. Description: after drinking it, you can increase your maximum movement speed by 20% and your vitality recovery speed by 20% within 20 minutes. You can only use it once within 48 hours. Fang Heng gulped down the drink. He had tested it when he met the licker yesterday. He ran at full speed but was slightly slower than the licker. Now with this 20% increase in speed, the licker should not be able to catch up with him. Fang Heng held the shotgun in his hand and slowly moved forward. He walked along the passage that he had previously walked through until he reached the entrance to the second floor. Fang Heng was not in a hurry to go upstairs. Instead, he took out a yellow rubber duckling toy from his backpack. He reached out and grabbed the rubber duckling's stomach. He squeezed it lightly. Squeak! The toy duckling let out an ear-piercing screech. Squeak! Squeak, squeak, squeak. After pressing it several times, Fang Heng kept the duckling. Lickers relied on sound to track their targets. At close range, they could even hear the heartbeat of their prey. Therefore, if they directly used the sound source to attract the lickers, they would be seen through very quickly. They had taken the bait. A moment later, Fang Heng heard the faint sound of friction coming from upstairs. At the same time, a sense of danger arose in his heart. He turned around and ran. Fang Heng ran forward with all his might. His vitality points began to drop rapidly. Fang Heng was very sure that the lickers that were behind him were still chasing him. The sense of danger behind him did not disappear. Instead, it became more and more intense. Chee chee chee. The sound of the lickers crawling against the wall behind him became more and more frequent. Listening to the sounds, the number of lickers chasing him this time was even more than the last time. This is troublesome. The rubber ducking's cry was not controlled well. It attracted too many lickers at once. Fang Heng had no choice. He didn't even turn his head and continued to run forward with all his might. He finally reached the exit. Fang Heng leapt out of the prison gate and immediately hid in the reserved maze gap on the right. Liao Bufan quickly blocked the gap on the side, and the two continued to run into the distance. After running for a few seconds, the first licker came out of the prison building. The licker could pinpoint its location using sound and senses. It moved extremely fast and immediately climbed up the wall made of logs after breaking out of the building. Chen Yu followed Fang Heng's instructions and did not give the order to shoot before receiving his hand signal. He was unusually nervous, and his finger pressed on the trigger of the pistol while staring intensely at the licker. Now it was time to find out if the maze worked.